Weird move, man. Going straight to reading the water content.
What? It's not water. It's green tea. I have to make sure it doesn't have sucralose in it.
Oh, okay.
Good morning.
Everything's got sucralose in it. Everything has sucralose in it. Did you know that? I didn't know that.
You did a Ben Stiller move. Like you're posing when you grab the water. It's just, and then he's looking at the water, and he's looking at the water.
Blue Steel.
You practicing being a hand model for the tea?
No, I got under 235 yesterday. All right.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much. Got 20 more to go. All right. Got 20 more to go. And checking.
Plenty of time too. Way to go.
Yeah, I'm like way ahead of schedule. I'm really happy with it. Hey, thanks to the folks at New Life Weight Loss. I'm doing good. Under 235 for the first time since the last time that I was 235, and then remembered that hot dogs are delicious. I just got to get,
but not now. They're not delicious right now.
No, they're amazing right now.
They're horrible pieces of condensed meat.
It's just that, and you may or may not know this great one. When you get to the 215 range or whatever it is you want to be in.
You're right. I don't remember that. So thanks for that. I'm hurt already.
When you get to the spot that you want to be in, that's
better.
It's just it's just a matter of realizing that you're not obligated to order 4 hot dogs at a time, Because I'm squarely team Glizzy. Squarely team Glizzy. Big Glizzy guy over here.
I'm not sure if I've ever eaten 4 hot dogs.
I've repeated.
I know people are looking at me like, yeah, you have. No, I have not.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome in. The Rob Brown Show is on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Hope you're having a lovely Friday so far. You're not if you're a fan of the Denver Nuggets. I ask Nuggets. That's not even true. I don't ask the fans because the fans didn't do it. The fans aren't responsible. So Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic, I ask you, and I'm phrasing this as eloquently as I can after last night's demolition job at the hands of the Minnesota Timberwolves. What the was that? Good God. Listen, I said yesterday, I thought Minnesota wins this game, right? This was not a shock that there was an L. Not a shock. Minnesota's a very good basketball team. They got Mike Conley back. Mike Conley adds an extra dimension to that offense that I knew it would probably take the Denver defense some getting used to, as you might say. But Denver looked awful last night. That was I was embarrassed for them.
They turned their back on the Wolfpack.
That's pathetic, dude. The Nuggets jumped out to a 9-2 lead in this game, and then Minnesota went on a 20-0 run, and they never looked back. Denver didn't get to the 50-point mark until there were 6 minutes left in the third quarter, and at that point, they had 0 points off the bench. They ended with 12 bench points. 8 of them came in the fourth quarter after Minnesota had pulled their starters.
All right, I watched most of the first half. But once it got to halftime, it's like, yeah, this thing is done.
I'm gonna be straight up. I put that game on the tablet last night. I watched the
relegation.
Oh, like relegation, and they're lucky that there wasn't a good baseball game I wanted to watch on last night. Scratch that. There was a good baseball game I wanted to watch on last night. They're lucky there wasn't 2 baseball games that were on last night because I'd have watched the second. What was that? And here's the weird thing about it. Minnesota wins 2. Denver wins 3 in a row, and they've got boot on throat. Now, again, I said yesterday, I absolutely believe that the Timberwolves would win game 6 at home. These are NBA athletes. They have their back against the wall and they are at home. Everything lined up for Minnesota to get one back. And on top of all of that, it's hard to beat the worst team in the NBA 3 games in a row. It's hard to beat the worst team 3 games in a row. So everything going your direction. You got Mike Conley back. You got Anthony Edwards, who has played on a heater lately. You're in front of your home crowd. Your back is against the wall. Everything lined up last night for an outright T-Wolves win. I did not think that we were going to see, I don't even know, what was the final score line on that game? Like 40 points? 115-70. Sorry, Lonzo, got it wrong. 45 points in an NBA game. 45 points. That's stupid. And all of a sudden, I've spent 3 days end zone dancing. I've spent 3 days gloating. I've spent 3 days going on nationally syndicated radio programs and hitting the new tweeter end zone dance. That's a Varsity Blues reference. Hitting the new tweeter end zone dance because everybody else gave up on the Nuggets. And Rob Brown has made a decent amount of cashola off betting the Nuggets the last 3 games in a row. I actually made a decent bit of money last night because I took the T-Wolves to cover up 2.5. I thought, no worries. They got this. Now I am horrified about going on radio today. I'm waiting for my homegirl Trista Crick to hit me with the text today and go, do you want to do a bonus appearance on BetMGM tonight to talk about the Nuggets? No, Trista, I don't. No, I don't. Thank you very much for asking. No, I do not. I have no interest in doing that because I was glowed. I was touchdown dancing on everybody because I tried to keep you awake on the Denver Nuggets and ain't nobody want none. And here we go. Here we are. And this team does that. That's pathetic, man. It's embarrassing is what that is. How do you, and here's my question. Great one. How do you bounce back from getting the foot broken off by 45? How do you I don't care if you are the reigning defending undisputed NBA world champions. How do you get smoked by 45 points and have any semblance of self-confidence left in yourself? How do you do it? No, I know there are some people that have undeserved levels of self-confidence. We call them influencers, and no one likes them. But if you're a pro athlete, you just got dumped by 45. I don't care if it's on the road, and I don't care if the other team was against elimination. Denver did nothing right. They shot 30%, less than 20% from 3. They went to the stripe a total of 14 times. As I mentioned earlier, they had, did I say they had 12 bench points? I'm sorry, they had 9. I mathed poorly. They had 9 bench points last night. 9. And that's with Minnesota pulling their starters with like 7 minutes left to play. 9 bench points last night. They held Jokic to 22 on 9 of 19 from the floor, 0 of 4 from the stripe. They held Jamal Murray to 10 points. How many times have I said, if Jamal Murray is a single-digit scorer, and yes, I know 10 has 2 digits in it, but it's close enough. We're rounding down. If Jamal Murray's a single-digit scorer, this team can't win. It just can't win. 27 from Ant-Man. Jaden McDaniels was the X factor last night with 21. Mike Conley checked in. He's missed a couple of games with injury. 13 on 5 of 9 from the floor and 3 of 6 from the arc. And then Gobert and Towns have been doing what they're doing and been okay, 8 and 10 respectively. That was so far, great one. the most shocking single game result that we have seen in the NBA this season, in my opinion.
So game 7 is what, Sunday?
Game 7 is, yes, I believe that is correct.
We're going to come in here on Monday and Denver will have won this.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
You think after getting beat by 45, Vegas has got that line set as Denver favored by 4.5, but the lowest over under total of any NBA playoff game so far set at 197.5. 197.5.
Timberwolves show what they can do when their backs against a wall in an elimination game the first time. This is the next one. Can they do that 2 games in a row? I don't know.
That was, golly, that was as ugly as I've ever seen. That is the worst playoff loss by an MVP in the playoffs all time. All time. And granted, I understand that there's only one MVP every year. But there's one MVP every year, and that was the worst MVP loss of all time. I got nothing. I got nothing. I don't know how to respond to what happened last night. I can give you X's and O's. Nikola Jokic was getting double teamed. They pushed him off the elbow. They made him play down low. Every time he went down low, they were throwing double teams at him, and he didn't know what to do because nobody else was moving. Nobody else was doing anything. They had Gordon here. They had Murray up top, and they were just like standing there looking at Jokic. Jokic is getting the ball down in the short corner, up at the free throw line. They're throwing 2 at him. And remember, in the last game, they would throw 2 at Nikola Jokic. And what was he doing? He was spinning to the basket against one. He was waiting for the second defender to chase him, either from one block, from the other block, or out from a wing. And then he was just hitting the assist out in that direction. Last night, there were no assists to be hit. They were hitting Jokic soon as Jokic got the ball. There was no time to square up to the basket. As soon as Jokic got the ball, no matter where he was, short corner, free throw line extended, top of the key, no matter where he got the ball, as soon as he did, they ended up having 2 Timberwolves jump at him. It'd be Gobert and Cat, or it'd be Gobert and Anthony Edwards. They'd have 2 jump him, and once the second jumped him, before he put the ball on the ground, they were throwing quick hands into the pocket. Jokic was trying to get squared up. He could not. And when you can't get squared up and you can't see the basket, and you take away the threat of Nikola Jokic being a driver of the basketball, when you take that out of the equation, then all of a sudden, the assists aren't as easy. The assists aren't there. The assists are no longer coming. And the thing that drove me the craziest about all this, because I really like Michael Malone, is there was like no point in that game last night where I started seeing like off-ball movement, where I started seeing, Murray and Porter and Gordon and whoever else setting screens off ball, working off ball, trying to get around and create an avenue for Jokic to make the pass. If Jokic can get rid of the ball and get a defender to leave him, then he can go to the spot that player vacated and then make a run to the basket. But like the Nuggets last night, it's like the Nuggets forgot how to do basic basketball. When they got down by 26, I think at one point, they got down by like 26. I am calling a Liberty game tonight with our buddy Mark Shelley. I'm calling a Liberty game. I texted Mark and I'm like, hey man, we need to talk about this game tomorrow. He's filling in on color for me. So I'm like, we need to start talking about this game tomorrow. You want to play some Halo? Like that's what I did instead of finishing this game. I put this game on the tablet. I set the tablet in the stand. I put the tablet on the stand. I turned on the the basketball game. I had the hockey going on the small TV. And oh, by the way, Carolina Hurricanes, I'm coming for you next. I put the Canes on the small TV. I put the Nuggets on the tablet on the stand. And then I just played Halo for like an hour and a half. And I want you to know, as tragically bad as I am at multiplayer first-person shooter video games, I was better than the Nuggets last night. I was ending 17-minute games with like 4 kills, and that's better than the Nuggets.
Dude.
I suck, dude. I'm awful.
That's so
I'm
bad.
awful. I'm telling you, I'm awful. Here's how bad it was last night.
That made me feel better about me, though.
Oh, I've sucked, bro.
So thank you.
I'm tragic. You give me a sports game, I'm good. You give me an FPS, I'm ass. I'm bad. So I got to playing with him last night. After the, 9th or 10th game, where I'd finish with like 4 kills, 6 assists, and 26 deaths in a game. When he goes, I'm going to bed, I went, yep, me too, and deleted the game off my Xbox. I was like, no, I'm good with this. I'm never coming back to this. That's enough of that. And I want you to know, I still have more confidence in myself doing that than I have in the Nuggets at this point. I got nothing, man. Speaking of cheeks, as the kids say, Carolina Hurricanes bounced from the Stanley Cup playoffs last night in a 5-3 to the New York Rangers in their own barn. Listen, winning 4 straight is very difficult. Carolina had no reason to lose that game last night with a 3-1 lead going into the third. And yes, I love Rod Brindamore, but this team is catching heat tomorrow. So let's talk some hockey. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It's the Fan Upstate.
Look at what I just sent you.
Hang on, I've just been told that a texter sent their show yesterday that I am the worst play-by-play guy of all time. And I want you to know, I'm not mad that somebody doesn't like me, but of all time,
why do you care?
Andy Reid stealing his wide receiver's cars.
So I'm just picturing Andy doing one of these.
Yeah, but does he?
He's got one of those things where
does he take it through a hamburger joint on the way home?
Well, sure. I mean, hard work deserves reward. So just popped up on TMZ. ICYM. I don't know what that means.
ICYMI, in case you missed it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Paige Verano says she has nipples. Denies wild conspiracy. So apparently there's a conspiracy that she doesn't have any of those. It's important stuff.
You know the house on the block with the perfect lawn? Don't you envy them? That's just jealousy getting to you. Be the house on the block they envy. Just get to Carolina in the top 10.
So no team has ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Never happened?
According to Rich Eisen. I know a team that went to 4 Super Bowls in a row.
The NFL has never had a team win 3 consecutive Super Bowls, making the modern-day football three-peat one of the most elusive championship pinnacles in sports.
So odds are they're not going to do it because it's never been done. So is this the kind of thing that you put money on?
No.
I'm just curious from a betting standpoint.
No.
So something's never been done, and someone could be on the verge of doing it.
Lots of teams have won 2 in a row. And while the Chiefs are absolutely dynastic, lots of teams have won 2 in a row and been dynastic and not done it. And as I've told you already, sound the disrespect alarm. I don't think you guys are as good this year as you were last year. But we're still months away from the
I
season.
think they're better. I really do.
That's-
mean, how'd they get worse?
A,
Is it because other teams got better around them? I mean,
that is part of it. That is part of it. Baltimore.
Come on. They did pick up a pretty good running back.
They picked up a great running back. That is getting better. That is, as far as I'm concerned, the thing that killed them last year. Actually, that's not even true. What killed them last year against you guys was the fact that they decided to run a running back who was a Pro Bowl threat. Would they run him against y'all 6 times in that game? It's like the first time he got stuffed at the line against a good defense. They were like, let's not do that anymore.
Yeah, scared of that defense, man.
Cowardice. Rob Brown Show on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Carolina Hurricanes bounced from the Stanley Cup playoffs last night. And let's call it what it is. They deserved it. They deserved it. They were maybe the dumbest hockey team I've ever seen in these playoffs. Genuinely, maybe the dumbest hockey team I've ever seen. I do not know why this team just refused to make sense at any point during the season. It was ridiculous. Power play goals constantly. If they weren't giving up power play goals, they were constantly playing a man down. They did it multiple times last night. And here's the thing that drove me nuts about last night's game. Second period comes to its conclusion. The Canes have a 3-1 lead, and all their stars are on the board. H's is on the board with a goal in the first. Jarvis is on the board with a power play goal in the second. Sebastian Aho is on the board with a goal in the second. The only goal New York had was from former Cane, Vincent Trocheck. It is 3-1. Here we go into the third. New York has been on the back heel all game long. All game long. They have been on the back heel because Carolina is just pouring forward. I mean, just pouring forward on offense. Playing, you've heard me use this term a bunch. If you're a non-hockey guy, I'm going to get you there on the forecheck. Just constant, pressure into the zone. And then the penalties start adding up. And then all of a sudden, Carolina's got one, and they're shorthanded. And then they got another one, and they're shorthanded, and Chris Kreider scores. Oh, by the way, he had a third period hat trick. Here's my quick question. If a guy scores 2 goals in the third period, don't you change something? Like, don't you try something new? Don't you do something different? This is part of the reason I'm very frustrated, is because I genuinely like Rob Brind'Amour. I really do. I like him as a dude. I like him as a coach. He is a legend for the franchise that he is currently the head coach of. I like everything about Rob Brind'Amour, and this was the worst coaching performance that I have seen, but it's not exclusively on him. Because for whatever reason yesterday evening, this team just crumbled under the pressure. And it's not the only game they've done it in this series. And it's a spot where I think it is very fair to ask, is this team just not capable of playing under pressure? Because if it's not, you got to blow it up. You know who I would compare them to right now, although this team has a chance to change the narrative this year? The Boston Celtics. Wildly talented. Favorites. They were favorites to go in and win the East. Above the Rangers. They were favorites to go in and win the East. They've got plenty of talent. They've got plenty of opportunity. They've got momentum. And granted, they took the Rangers to double OT in game 2. They lost that game in overtime. They took the Rangers to overtime in game 3. They lost that game in overtime. They get game 4 back. They get game 5 back with backs against the wall. So maybe they deserve some credit, but do you get credit for fighting back in a series that you allowed yourself to lose 3 in a row? The answer to me is absolutely not. There is a reputation in Boston for the C's right now. And again, they're not clear of that reputation. We talked about this, I don't remember if it was on this show or another, but earlier this week, that Boston has this reputation of taking games off, of being a little lackadaisical, of hitting cruise control in some big-time spots. And by the time that they play somebody good and they find themselves in a series with a team that's lighting up the nets, they just choke it out. I know Carolina has won a cup in the past. But man, this version of that team is not it. And I don't know if it is the loss of Trocheck. I don't know if it's some of the changes they've made on the front line. I don't know what it is about this team. But for whatever reason last night, we get late into that game and Carolina just starts to fall apart. Jordan Staal gave up a penalty with, I don't remember how much time there was left to play in that one, but like not late or late, but not late in the third. And that's where the power play goal that tied the game up. When the Rangers got the second goal, when Critter hit the second goal, like 6.5 minutes into the third period, when he hit that power play goal, I still wasn't worried about it. Still was not worried about it. Was in a text conversation with a hockey buddy of mine from back home. He's like, uh-oh, Kane's on the back foot. I'm like, I'm not worried about it. Because even with the power play goal, the only way that they are going to get back into this thing is if Carolina does it again, and then they did it again. And it wasn't even a power play goal that cost them the game. Creed's third goal came at 15:41 played in the third period. The problem was because of the issues that they had and because the pressure had built back up on Carolina at that point, I think that this team quit everything they did that won them the last 2 games in a row. I think they quit doing everything that got them up by 2 goals in this game. They quit playing on the front foot. They quit playing on the forecheck. They started playing backwards. They started trying to flatten out on the blue line. And the problem with that is the front line of the Rangers, very good at carrying the puck into the offensive third. They're very good with momentum across the line. If they can get momentum going towards your blue line, they carry with speed, they carry with aggression, and more importantly, they have their timing down pat. The reason that the Canes had been so disruptive before that was simply because of the fact that they did not allow the Rangers time to build up momentum towards the blue line. They did not allow the Rangers time to set an offense and to carry a 2 or 3 man line across center ice into the offensive third with the spacing and the patterns that they wanted. Because Carolina kept the puck on the other side of center ice, and the only time that the Rangers were able to break that was just to kick it on down to the other side. Kick it on down to the other side, and at that point, Carolina could make their change. They could go pick up the puck behind the ice, behind the net, reset the offense, carry it back in again. And that offense was beating the Rangers defense. For 2.5 periods, it was beating the Rangers defense. And then for whatever reason, in the last handful of minutes, they just decided to do everything differently. Is there anything that is more aggravating in sport? Anything that is more aggravating in sports than when a team does something that carries them to a successful regular season, or a successful postseason or a successful series or a successful game or a successful half or a successful quarter or a successful period. When a team has something going that is going right, and then they just quit doing that thing, because that's what Carolina did. That's what Carolina did last night, and it was infuriating. You had New York on the back heel for 2.5 periods. And then the minute that they get one back, you decide that you're going to change everything you've been doing. Instead of playing on the forecheck, you're going to try to gather in the back third. You're going to gather in the back third, and then you're going to try to play Ranger hockey, which is what they did. And it turns out, and this may shock you, the Rangers are better at being the Rangers than the Hurricanes are being at the Rangers. So it was not that complicated to me, man. I was watching that game, breaking it down with a hockey buddy, and we both ended up at the same conclusion. For 2.5 periods, the Carolina Hurricanes played Carolina Hurricane hockey, and it disrupted the Rangers, and they did not know how to respond to it. And then for some reason, about 7 to 10 minutes into the third period, the Rangers or the Canes decided that they were going to play Ranger hockey. And this may shock some of you, but rare are the days where you are going to be better at being someone else than you are at being yourself. That's what the Canes did. It was infuriating, to tell you the truth. I don't know how else to put it. It was infuriating. All right. So the Canes are done. The Nuggets aren't done. Not yet. The Nuggets aren't done. But they looked like it last night. They looked like they were cooked last night. We're going to talk more about that series coming up later on in the show. When we come back here in just a minute from now, though, I found a bit of audio this morning that I want to play for you for 2 reasons. The first, I'm going to tell you now because it's absolutely hilarious, and I love the story. The second, you'll find out after I play it and tell you. That's in the next segment. I'm Rob Brown, the Great Lonzo on the ones and twos. The Rob Brown Show is live this morning on the Fan Upstate. Do me a favor and throw this in queue because I cleaned up the audio this morning, but I'm now second guessing and we just want to make sure.
My first visit was to Illinois University. I loved it. Loved it off bat. So first, I'm 17 years old. They're picking me up in a private jet. I ain't never been in a private jet in my life. What's up? Right? And then, now from there. And as soon as I get there, right? As soon as I get there, I'm like, that's impressive. Yeah. All right, cool. Y'all can't top this. Yeah, they top it. Yeah, so I get there. Now I get on campus. They got 5 girls with Charlie's Angels shirts on them. Following me wherever I go. Like on some he got game type. Where's the papers, coach? I'm on the way. So I was like, man, like this is dope. And then I had my brothers there, so we have. I actually practiced with them at that time, and the crowd and the love was crazy in Illinois. So I'm like, man, this is perfect. It's beautiful. Oh yeah. So I committed on the spot. Like, man, I still have 4 other visits to go to. Listen, but I was like, yo, I'm verbally, I'm coming.
You give somebody a 17-year-old kid a PJ.
A PJ.
Right. And you got 5 girls sitting right here with Charlie's Angels on.
Yep, Charlie's Angels shirt on.
I'll be right back next year. Just stay right there.
So yeah, man. So that was dope. That was dope.
That's good.
I think so.
Perfect. Good. We're great. Wonderful. Lovely. Spectacular. Fantastic.
If I change my mind, I know where the spot is. So I mean,
where's the stream at, man? Where are you guys at this morning?
come on. It's 6:30 on a Friday. It's been a really long week. I don't know why.
At Lowe's, save big every day when you buy in bulk. Save 10% on your choice and 6 or more.
I didn't sleep well. It's hitting me a little.
Uh-oh.
Keep going. Because with intelligent 4x4 and 7 drive modes and a Nissan Pathfinder,
Take that back. I was asleep. When I dream all night, I feel exhausted when I get up. No.
Does the name Charlie Villanueva ring a bell for you?
Yes.
Should. Charlie Villanueva, of course, a former NBA player, went and played his college basketball at UConn from 2003 to 2005, which was 67 years ago. Charlie Villanueva yesterday appeared on a very entertaining podcast that I frankly did not know existed until I found it yesterday. And I can tell you that I enjoyed the podcast immensely. I'm looking because I want to give them credit. It is worth the listen. The podcast is a podcast called the here it goes. It is the nope, stop it. I got it. It is the Run Your Race podcast. So this podcast had Charlie V on, and Charlie Villanueva told the story of a recruiting trip that he went on before he signed at UConn. He went on a recruiting trip to the University of Illinois, and he told this story about his first recruiting trip.
My first visit was to Illinois University.
Mhm.
I loved it. Loved it off bat. So first, I'm 17 years old. They picking me up in a private jet. I ain't never been in a private jet in my life.
Oh, it's up.
Right?
Mhm.
And then,
It's
now,
up from there.
and as soon as I get
With the
there,
papers.
right?
With the
As soon
papers
as I
there.
get there, I'm like, all right, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Right there. All right, cool. I can't top this,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
they topped it.
Yeah.
So I get there. Now I get on campus. They got 5 girls with Charlie's Angels shirts on them. Following me
Curtain
wherever I
call.
go.
I
Like on
need
some
the
he
paper.
got game type.
Where are the papers, coach? I'm on the way.
So I was like, man, like this is dope. And then I had my brothers there. So we have I actually practiced with them at that time. And the crowd and the love was crazy in
Really?
Illinois. So I'm like, man, this is perfect. This is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So I committed on the spot. Like, man, I still have 4 other visits to go to.
Listen,
But I already said, yo, I'm coming.
you give somebody a 17-year-old kid a PJ,
A PJ. That's right.
and you got 5 girls sitting right here with Charlie's Angels on.
Yep. Charles Angel
Bet.
shirt on.
I'll be
Yep.
right back next year. You stay right there.
So yeah, man. So that was dope. That was dope.
So Charlie V says his very first recruiting trip, the University of Illinois picks him up in a private jet. They fly him to Illinois on a private jet, just so we're all clear. They fly him to Illinois. And when he arrives at Illinois, by the way, from Queens, New York. So they send a private jet, a PJ, from Illinois to Queens. They pick him up in Queens. They fly him back to Illinois. And when he gets there and he gets off the plane, he says that waiting for him are 5 college girls wearing shirts that say Charlie's Angels. And now his name's Charlie Villanueva, so that's actually a really good hook.
Oh, I didn't get that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Charlie Villanueva. So they call these 5 girls Charlie's Angels. Now, that part's not all that shocking to me because I went to college and I'm aware of what colleges will refer to as either a hospitality team or a courtesy team. But effectively, they go grab 4 or 5 or 10 or 15, let me be clear, attractive young ladies from around the university, and they will offer them some sort of compensation to work for the university on the courtesy team. And their job is to show up and to escort these athletes that are being recruited to the school around the campus.
All right.
That was why you went.
Yeah, I forgot my mic was on. According to Jeff Darlington, and I haven't found any other sources on this, world #1 golfer Scotty Scheffler has been detained by police in handcuffs after a misunderstanding with the traffic flow led to his attempt to drive past a police officer into Valhalla Golf Club. Police officer attempted to attach himself to Scheffler's car, and Scheffler then stopped his vehicle at the entrance to Valhalla. The police officer then began to scream at Scheffler to get out of the car. When Scheffler exited the vehicle, the officer shoved Scheffler against the car and immediately placed him in handcuffs. He's now being detained in the back of a police car. This is according to Jeff Darlington.
Get the hell out of here. That's insane. That's insane.
Jeff Darlington is the only one reporting it, but according to everything from Jeff, he's like been there at the golf course and been following Scheffler around and been in that group.
Get the hell out of here.
It looks like legitimately Jeff Darlington. So, I mean.
All right. I have got boots on the ground at Valhalla Golf Course right now in Kentucky.
Everyone I've heard say has called it Valhalla, by the way.
I mean, what do you want?
I know we were having this discussion yesterday, and I've been listening to other people say it. That's all.
I've got boots on the ground there at the course, already on the course this morning, watching practice and all that. So I'm sending a text now over to my live on-course reporter, Joey B., friend of the show. So I'll get with Joey B and see if he's heard anything.
Well, this just happened. If this is indeed Jeff Darlington, he has a blue check mark.
That's Jeff Darlington's account for sure.
Yeah.
I've scanned it 3 times, making sure that I'm not getting Adam Schefter, you know?
But since he's on there,
Here's what I'll tell you. If this is true, if the world's #1 golfer has been arrested at the third biggest golf tournament of the season, that's going to spread around the course real fast. Like real fast. That's very interesting.
Wait, Scotty got arrested? We got a shot.
Scotty doesn't know to obey basic traffic rules. No. So
if this is true, did he say, "Do you know who I am"?
Nah, I'm going to tell you what happened in this. You ready? I'm going to go ahead and hypothesize right here. I have been to golf tournaments. I have not been to a major, but I've been to multiple PGA Tour tournaments. And what I will tell you is that around the course, normal people don't get to drive. There's shuttles. You walk. You don't drive around the course. However, obviously, the golfers do. They will be driven or they will drive themselves. A lot of them drive themselves. There are plenty of stories from people who have been there of showing up to the clubhouse, and you're not allowed on the clubhouse grounds most of the time, but showing up to the clubhouse early and watching the parking lot, because a lot of these guys drive themselves. They got their own car. They get out of the hotel or wherever they're staying, and they drive themselves to the course. So it's not unusual for a golfer to drive themselves to the course. And what I'm gonna bet happened here, and if this is true, and we're gonna keep an eye on this and see if we can get some verification. And again, I've got boots on the ground at Valhalla right now, so I'll see if either any of my guys that are out there can confirm that rumor is floating around yet. I'm gonna guarantee, and I'm coming back to the Charlie Villanueva thing here in a minute because I do have a question about it. I'm going to bet what happened here is Scotty Scheffler was driving himself to the clubhouse. There was a traffic cop who was there because there's going to be a strange traffic pattern around Valhalla. Scotty probably read a direction wrong or didn't understand the flow of traffic and thought that he was going to the clubhouse. And I'm going to go 75-1 that this cop can't pick Scotty Scheffler out of a lineup, because I'd be willing to bet right now that despite all of this happening, despite that the fact that we have been talking about the PGA Championship all week, despite the fact that Scotty Scheffler is the world's #1 golfer, Lonzo, if I showed you Scotty Scheffler right now, could you pick him up out of a lineup?
Probably not. I've seen him on video a few times, but we know I'm not a big golf guy, so more than likely not.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Scotty made an innocent mistake trying to get to the clubhouse. He went against the traffic pattern, the improvised traffic pattern that was made up for this event to make sure golfers get through, but nobody else. He got stopped, and this guy didn't know who the hell Scotty Scheffler is. If Scotty Scheffler dropped a "Do you know who I am" on this cop, it might be the most warranted and justified "Do you know who I am" of all time. It is one thing to hit somebody in the airport right now. It's like one thing to hit somebody in the airport. Sir, you can't have a drink on the airplane. Do you know who I am? Like, that's one thing. All right, you're a jerk. It is another thing when you are the #1 golfer in the world, playing in the 3rd largest golf tournament in the world, at one of the most prestigious golf courses in the world, and you are on your way to try to win back-to-back major championships. That's a pretty appropriate spot to drop a "Do you know who the hell I am" on that guy. It's a pretty appropriate spot to hit a cop with, "You've got to let me go. I work here."
By the way, breaking news brought to you by
BetQL. Be a better, be smarter. Beat the books with our friends at BetQL. Grab the BetQL app right now. And of course, make sure you are following the BetQL stations on that app, including Saturdays from noon to 4, when Bet for the Cycle, hosted by former MLB player Cody Decker and myself, Rob Brown, airs. And we talk all the things, including this Saturday, the major tour, the PGA Championship major at Valhalla. Here is what I am getting right now from our on-course reporter, Andrew Phillips. He is the president of the Reedy River Riot Greenville Triumph Supporters Club. He and friend of the show, Joey B, are sitting in a shuttle right now. You know why they're sitting in a shuttle right now? Because they're in the traffic pattern to enter Valhalla Golf Club, and they have been, according to Andrew Phillips, told, quote, "We've just been told we're not going to be moving for an indefinite period of time."
Okay, they're showing on TV the tour, but they're not showing anyone being arrested. So, I mean,
the title on the screen right now is 2024 PGA Championship second round delayed due to accident near course, but
yeah,
I don't know. We can't make anything off this screen.
See, the thing is, Darlington works for ESPN, so why is it not being reported on TV?
Well, I mean, it is right now. This is ESPN that we are watching. Shouldn't say that publicly, but what are you going to do? They've got the sports show in the mornings.
Although, I mean, I don't know. This is. Wait, isn't that
Scotty Scheffler is officially trying to
in the middle? Isn't that Darlington?
I don't know. Much like Scotty Scheffler, I couldn't pick him up in a lineup. Let's see. Looks like it. Yeah, looks like it. So this is interesting. We got a report now. That is, Jeff Darlington literally just tweeted, "I'm going on ESPN now to detail what I witnessed." Scotty Scheffler has been tamed. So here's
There it is.
Is that him?
That's
Oh, that is definitely
Yeah.
Scotty Scheffler being put into the back of a police car.
wow.
What the hell, man? This is wild. I'm saving this Villanueva thing. We're coming back. What is happening? So Scotty Scheffler on his way to the second round of the 2004 PGA Championship earlier this morning was, according to Darlington, quote, detained for an incident not related to the accident. So we have an accident outside of Valhalla Golf Club that is delayed the second round, and Scotty Scheffler in his New Balances and calf-high socks has been escorted to the back of a cop car and taken away from the scene of an incident in handcuffs. Well, this isn't going to be a distraction for him trying to win another major coming off of the 2024 Masters at Augusta National. What is happening? Texter said someone Happy Gilmore style has been hired to help them win. I should not be laughing. I feel bad for Scotty Scheffler. This sucks.
Well,
This sucks.
again, we don't know how he acted. We don't know what he said. Maybe he didn't do anything that he shouldn't have did other than going outside the traffic pattern. It's a possibility, but he may have been belligerent. He may have done something to warrant being arrested.
So I've got an observation. Let's go full Sherlock Holmes on this. My dude was dressed to show up at the golf club. That's not a guy who was out on an all-night cocaine rage bender last night. That dude was dressed on his way to the golf course. He's in a polo, he's in dress shorts, he's in golf tennis shoes, golf sneakers, and high socks. That man was on his way to a golf course. So I'm going to stick right now. With this. Scotty Scheffler, Texter says, Golf Channel confirmed the story. Also, a fatality around the golf course involving a pedestrian, unrelated, video showing now on the Golf Channel. All right, we may see if we do we get the Golf Channel? I don't know if we get the Golf Channel. We should find out if we get the Golf Channel. So, apparently there was an accident this AM involving a pedestrian that resulted in a fatality. And then, now I don't know if the Scotty Scheffler incident came. All right, that's not it. You can go back. I don't know if the Scotty Scheffler incident came before or after that. If it came after it, it may be understandable because Scotty Scheffler, who again has a tee time today to play in the 2024 PGA Championship at Valhalla National Golf Course, may have panicked and been like, I'm going to go around the traffic. Because I'm going to tell you right now, if I got a tee time to play a course like that, yeah, I'm speeding if I got to speed to get there. So Scotty Scheffler may very well have tried to get around traffic, tried to go down the side or something. A traffic cop stops him and probably doesn't want to hear it from Scotty that, dude, I got a tee time to try to win a huge golf tournament here.
Especially
and was like, get
with
out the car, bro.
Especially with a fatality involved.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be extra. Wow.
Yeah, and just so we're clear, if what I'm hypothesizing is what happened, I mean, obviously I'll want the details, but I think you would give a little bit more leeway to a traffic cop if there's a fatality-related accident that happened around the course. So I don't know, man. We're not gonna pass any judgment on this, but this is wild, man. What a wild start to the day. What's this do? And again, you hate if there is truly a fatality involved. You don't want to turn around and be like, well, what about the golf tournament? But this kind of does change the third biggest golf tournament on planet Earth. It does kind of shape everything a little bit. So interesting story breaking right now from Louisville, Kentucky, as Scotty Scheffler detained, put in cuffs, put in the back. You know what they say about these golfers nowadays, Lonzo? They're just gangsters, just thugs. Out here running around, getting arrested on game day. What are we doing? Just thugs, man.
You said it, not me. I'm not in this.
All right, we'll keep an eye on this and see what happens next. Jeff Darlington on ESPN detailing the situation. I am going to go do nothing during the next 4.5 minutes but do research on this. While I do that, Lonzo's going to give you an incredible sports flash.
Jeff Darlington looking distraught. There was one game in the NBA last night, but it wasn't very competitive. The Timberwolves sent the Western Conference semifinals to a Game 7 with a 115-70 domination of the Nuggets. Denver got just 9 points from their bench. The majority of those coming in the fourth quarter. Anthony Edwards scored 27, and Jay McDaniels recorded 21 in the win. In the NHL, the Carolina Hurricanes season ended last night with a 5-3 loss to the New York Rangers at home. Carolina held a 3-1 lead after 2 periods, but Chris Kreider scored a third period hat trick to give the Rangers a 4-3 lead and eventually the win. Tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 for our brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. And it's all Wire to Wire. New life in the first break.
10-4.
This is wild, dude.
You know, I was prepared to say in this hour of the show that the 2024 PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Course in Louisville, Kentucky is underway. It's not. It's not. So, you know what? I think this jumps to the top of water cooler cheat sheet, right? Like, I think this immediately goes. 3 top stories you need to know. Water cooler cheat sheet goes now.
Are you ready for the playbook of the peculiar, the almanac of the absurd, and the encyclopedia of the extraordinary? Well, you better be, because we're diving headfirst into the 3 top stories that will have your coworkers say,
"What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?"
No.
Here we go. Welcome to the water cooler cheat sheet on the Fan Upstate.
So, the water cooler cheat sheet, the top 3 stories of the day. Sorry, I'm like trying to. I've got 4 guys right now that are at Valhalla who are on a shuttle bus that were on their way to the facility. And they have been stopped. Though not them individually, like the whole crowd, everybody. So what we've gotten so far is a combination of details from Jeff Darlington, which, by the way, what a weird spot for ESPN NFL insider Jeff Darlington to become the hottest name in golf journalism today. What a weird thing for this guy. Hey, would you look at this?
Sometimes breaking news happens right in front of you.
It really does.
So.
Literally in this case. How about live from Valhalla, though not on the phone, on the stream, Joey B from a shuttle bus outside of the golf course on the stream. Incredible. He said, "We're here live from a delayed shuttle bus that can't get into Valhalla." So here's what we know. Sorry, I don't know that I shouldn't be laughing, but this is so wild. I don't know what else to do.
It's nervous laughter because
I think it is.
There's some unbelief going on here, even though we don't know all the details, but it doesn't sound good from how Darlington, I was watching during the break, and he said a policeman said to him, "There's nothing you can do. He's going to jail."
Yeah. So here's what we've got so far from Jeff Darlington and from various other reports that are coming out of the area right now. What we've got right now is that at some point this morning, there was an accident that involved a fatality of a pedestrian. And so after that, they shut down traffic going into Valhalla Golf Club. So all the traffic's been shut down, hence our guy Joey B being stuck in a shuttle bus going into the arena, into the course. Then, in a different incident that may or may not be related to what happened earlier, Scotty Scheffler has been detained. Now, Jeff Darlington, who is on ESPN right now, when we were at break, we turned on the audio to the television, and Darlington said that for whatever reason, I assumed he was in traffic, but he is on set. I don't know if the set he's on is at the club or outside the club, because with a lot of these, what they'll do is they'll set up a studio setup outside of the golf club, but then they'll put an image of whatever. It appears to be, and Joey B, you're there, you can confirm it. I don't know if the pictures they're showing are from earlier and the weather sucks, because it does look like it was kind of overcast and maybe rainy a little bit there. But Darlington, for whatever reason, somehow ended up where Scotty Scheffler was. what we got told during the break by Darlington was that he recognized what was happening. He approached. He said that Scotty Scheffler was not raising his voice, was not yelling, was not boisterous, was very calm for the scenario. He said a cop walked over and began to take the handcuffs off of Scotty Scheffler. And he thought that Scotty Scheffler was going to be released, which would make sense, right? If the cop figures out who it is and why he's where he is, maybe he goes, all right, dude, you made a mistake. I made a mistake. We got to let this go. But he said they took the cuffs off. They allowed Scotty to basically get more comfortable. Then they recuffed him and they put him in the car. He said then the cop recognized Jeff Darlington, not as Jeff Darlington, but as a member of the media, because Darlington was like watching and documenting, right? So he walked over, according to Darlington, and asked Jeff Darlington, can you identify the person that we just arrested? Can you tell us, do you know who we just arrested? And then after that discussion, Scotty Scheffler was driven away from the scene in a cop car. And as Lonzo told you a second ago, was that quote to Jeff Darlington or was it to Scotty Scheffler?
It was to Darlington. Because Darlington, the arresting officer thought that Darlington was with Scheffler, and he identified himself as a member of the media. And then he said, "There's nothing you can do. He's going to jail." Yeah.
Okay. So Scotty Scheffler is going to jail. We do not know what led up to it. The speculation right now is, and this was my guess. Let me be very clear about this. This is not confirmed. This is my speculation. This is my guess. Darlington said that because of the accident, which involved the fatality, because of the accident, that the PGA and the golf course decided that they would let the golfers into the facility, but no fans. It was made clear to the golfers, you can be here, the fans can't. And so the guess that I have and the speculation that seems to be going on right now is that Scotty Scheffler being alerted that the golfers were going to be let onto the course probably was like trying to circumvent traffic somehow, because we're getting the pictures of the scene of the accident. The street is now empty. There's cones up and down to provide lanes. I'm assuming later on it'll be opened as a detour or whatever. We don't know what it is yet. But my guess is that Scotty Scheffler likely tried to circumvent traffic because he had been told that golfers would be able to enter the facility. The traffic cop probably wasn't alerted to that, or at least had not yet been alerted. All the traffic cop saw was some guy who, and here's the other thing, we've now seen the picture of Scotty Scheffler being put in the back of a cop car. Scotty Scheffler is dressed like a guy going to a golf course, but that also means he's dressed like a fan going to the golf course. And he would have been on his way about the time that other fans, or that fans, would have started to be permitted to enter the grounds. So the cop probably thought, I got this fan, I got this goob in his pleated khaki shorts and polo shirt and calf-high socks and tennis shoes. I got this goof trying to drive onto the property. I got this guy, and by the way, I don't know this. My guess is going to be Scotty Scheffler probably does not have his golf clubs with him, right? Like, hey, man, my tour card and my clubs are in the trunk. Check him out. He's probably just a guy in a car on his way circumventing traffic. And as there is an accident with a fatality, it would be understandable that a traffic cop would be like, I don't care who you are. You can't do this. You're under arrest. And if that cop was a no-nonsense guy, was a guy who wasn't taking no crap off of nobody, he would probably absolutely think, I don't give a damn if you're the 2024 Masters champion. I don't care. You're not circumventing traffic laws while we are working an investigation of an accident involving a fatality. My guy, it's not happening. And probably just put him in the cuffs to take him away. So the fact that this guy, either the or one of the arresting officers, told Jeff Darlington that, or asked Jeff Darlington, can you identify the man that we just arrested? And then told Jeff Darlington, there is nothing you can do. He is going to jail. And then they took him away.
Isn't that odd, though? Because, of course, they were going to ask him his name. Did he not give them his name?
Look, he may not have had his ID on him. There's a million reasons.
Well, but even if you don't have your ID, the police would have asked him his name.
Yeah, but, dude, if you're...
Maybe it's confirmation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's confirmation. Because especially if, again, I could be totally wrong. Scotty Scheffler, on his way to play in a huge golf tournament, may not have a wallet on him, or it may be in his bag, or his caddy may have it. He may not care. I know when I play golf, I take my wallet out of my pants. My wallet goes into the bottom of my golf bag when I play. So if he does that, or something similar to it, and he doesn't have his wallet, and he gets stopped, and he's being threatened with arrest, and is told to identify himself, this may shock you. Sometimes people lie. Sometimes people will say that they are someone that they are not in order to not get in trouble. That's not saying that's what Scotty Scheffler did. I'm saying if you are a cop and you are making an arrest of someone, you want multiple confirmations that the person is the person that you are arresting. And even if they have a driver's license, it can be forged. It can be false. It can be a fake ID. So you would want to go and confirm that the person you are arresting is indeed Scotty Scheffler. As a texter just said, there are crazy people out there who would say, I'm Scotty Scheffler. The cop wanted to make sure he wasn't a crazy person. Yeah, pretty much. That could be it. Texter said, solid speculation, but what you're describing is definitely not an arrestable offense. Once ID, they should have let Sheff go. That's all it was. If that's all it was. If that's all it was, I will say that I am not a police officer. I will say that I have been around police officers my whole life. I have multiple family members that are police officers. 3 of my best friends are police officers. One of my favorite uncles is a police officer. Been around him a long time. And I would say if they were going to arrest Scotty Scheffler, it would not be for circumventing traffic. It would probably be for some version of hindering an investigation, tampering with, disturbing an official police investigation. Because if there was a fatality in this accident, accident or not, but if there was a fatality to this accident, it would 100% be a legitimate police investigation. They are going to investigate every traffic accident, but one that involves a fatality becomes priority numero uno. So if they arrested Scotty Scheffler, it is probably less about Scotty Scheffler trying to circumvent traffic and probably more about them believing that he was tampering with, hindering, whatever, an investigation. Texter said, after 31 years in law enforcement, I can tell you if he disobeys an officer at an accident scene or disturbing a crime scene, it is most definitely an arrestable offense. Well, first off, Texter, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. Thank you for what you did. We appreciate it. Second off, yeah, for sure. For sure. If they were working an active crime scene investigation, which that's, I think, how you would end up describing an accident scene involving a fatality. If he was working that as an investigation and Scotty Scheffler tried to drive through it or around it, or there's a cop saying stop or go that way, and Scotty Scheffler did anything else, it does not matter if you won the 2024 Masters Golf Tournament at Augusta National Golf Course. You're going to go to jail for that. So, again, all of that is speculation. None of that is confirmed as to what happened. What we have confirmation for so far, and I will push items 2 and 3 to the next segment. What we have confirmation for here is that earlier this morning, there was an accident near Valhalla Golf Club. The accident involved the fatality of the death of a pedestrian. The cops were on scene working this accident. In what Jeff Darlington is calling an unrelated incident, though I got a hard time believing it's not at least indirectly connected. We'll find out. In what Jeff Darlington is calling an unrelated incident, Scotty Scheffler had a run-in with a traffic cop. After an altercation, not a fight, not a scuffle, Scotty wasn't resisting arrest. He wasn't pushing back. Apparently, Scotty was trying to get around the cops, likely believing that because he was a golfer and they have been told they can make their way to the course, fans can't. Probably tried to circumvent the cop. The cop, not knowing that it was a golfer, according to Jeff Darlington, attempted to, quote, attach himself to the car. I don't know what the hell that means. But attempted to attach himself to the car. Scheffler then stopped the vehicle, got out of the car, at which time he was confronted by the cop, placed into handcuffs, identified, placed into the back of a patrol car, and taken away. Jeff Darlington says there were roughly 50 cars, cop cars, around the area this morning, which would make sense for the fatality accident. But that when he approached the scene where Scotty Scheffler was placed into cuffs, he said they took the cuffs off Scheffler, but it ended up being so that Scheffler could adjust his hands before being handcuffed again, placed in the back of a car. The cop then approached Jeff Darlington and said, "Can you identify the man that we just arrested?" Jeff Darlington said, "Yes, that is professional golfer Scotty Scheffler." Scotty Scheffler was then driven away, and the cop, according to Jeff Darlington, then told him, "You can't do anything. He is going to jail. There's nothing that can be done. He's going to jail," which leads me to believe, like I said, he was probably trying to circumvent traffic, and the cop didn't give a damn that he was a golfer and took him away.
So attached to a car makes me think that the cop went up to the car and put his hands on the car somewhere. And then once the cop's hands were on the car, Scotty kept going. And once you do that, you put an officer in danger. This again, speculation. But if the cop grabbed the car somewhere and he kept going, he put an officer in danger, and that's not good.
Yeah. I mean,
is speculation.
All this speculation.
Yes.
All this speculation. We do not know yet. What has actually happened here. We know Scotty Scheffler's been arrested. We know he's been taken away. We know a cop told Jeff Darlington there's nothing you can do. He is going to jail. Outside of that, we don't know. We don't know what else is going on at this point. The story from Darlington, the tweet he sent that kind of tipped us off on all this is, breaking news, world number one golfer Scotty Scheffler has been detained by police in handcuffs after a misunderstanding with traffic flow led to his attempt to drive past a police officer into Valhalla Golf Club. The police officer attempted to attach himself to Scheffler's car, and Scheffler then stopped his vehicle at the entrance to Valhalla. The police officer then began to scream at Scheffler to get out of the car. When Scheffler exited the vehicle, the officer shoved Scheffler against the car and immediately placed him in handcuffs. He is now being detained in the back of a police car. So that's the situation we've got going on right now. And we now have images, video, pictures of Scotty Scheffler being placed into the back of a police car, reporting live from Valhalla National Golf. Well, actually from the Kentucky Expo Center outside of Valhalla Golf Club. Friend of the show, Joey B, says the shuttle buses are now, quote, on the move. So it looks like they may open everything back up. My question here, how do you handle this if you're the PGA Tour? Do you shuffle everybody's tee time up one, which would push everybody forward about 12 minutes? Do you just insta-move Scotty Scheffler to the end of the day, make him the last tee time off and give him time to show up? Do you delay the start of this round a little later so everybody plays in the same order? But what do you do if you're the PGA Tour right now? I don't think you can have this tournament go on without the number one golfer in the world and the reigning Masters champion, especially if it does come out that this was some sort of, what's the word I would look for here? Misunderstanding, I guess. So we'll see. We'll keep details on this for you when we come back here in a minute. We will get to the other two items on the water cooler cheat sheet and more on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
New life.
All right, guys, quick break, and we're coming right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, real quick, not going to spend a ton of time on this, but during the break, Jeff Darlington tweeted out the video of his, what do we want to call it, interaction with officers. He was 15 feet behind Scotty Scheffler when they were leading him away from the scene.
Yeah.
About 15 feet away from Scotty Scheffler.
Well, I mean, he could have been zoomed in, but he looks fairly close.
He
does.
he looks fairly close, but
he's close enough for the cops to move him away.
Yes,
so.
he is close enough to the cops that as he was saying, "Hey guys," like he's saying to the cops, he's like, "Hey guys," like he's trying to stop him. That's Scotty Scheffler. That's the number one golfer in the world. Just so you guys know what's going on. This incident very clearly took place early in the morning because it is relatively dark, but it's also rainy. Joey B confirmed that the weather is crap right now around Valhalla. Okay. This very clearly happened earlier in the morning, but it is also bad weather. So the video that Jeff Darlington put out shows Scotty Scheffler being led away from the car. He is in handcuffs. There are police officers on both his left and his right holding him by the ankle or by the elbows. And he is handcuffed by his elbows. Let's be real clear.
Yeah, because the other thing is totally different.
Way different. So Scotty Scheffler has a cop on his left and his right holding him by the elbows. He is handcuffed. And as he walks away, Darlington is behind them saying, hey, guys, hey, guys. And again, if Darlington is not zoomed in, and based on the lens angle, I don't think he is. Because like my phone, when I zoom in, the lens angle kind of narrows in a little bit. So I'm guessing he's not. Again, speculation.
Well, another way you can tell that he's not is because the cop who was just over there walks up to him, and you can see the distance between that cop and where Scheffler being led away is. So as Scheffler's being led away, Jeff Darlington's like, hey, guys, hey, guys, hey, guys. He says, hey, guys, 3 or 4 times. And he is close enough that when the cop that is holding Scotty Scheffler by his left arm turns around to address Jeff Darlington, who, talk about putting yourself in the damn middle of the situation. The cop turns around and points at him, and he's like, you need to back up. You need to back up. And when he does, the camera angle is like at his chest level, the cop's chest level. So I'm assuming Darlington's got the phone down by his chest as he walks and is addressing the cops. They're like, you need to back up. You need to back up. Scotty Scheffler turns around to see, I'm assuming, who is yelling, but they do not stop walking with him. They walk him across the road. You can see shuttle buses, tour buses, further down the road as Scheffler is led across the road. And then a third police officer enters the scene, walking one step ahead of Jeff Darlington. Darlington addresses him and says, I'm part of the media. I'm part of the media. And kind of starts to give him do you know who that is? That's Scotty Scheffler. The cop's like, it's fine that you're part of the media. It's fine that you're recording, but you need to back up. You need to back up. And steps between Darlington's camera and Scotty Scheffler as Scheffler is being brought to and placed into the car. The cop is basically walked up on Darlington and using his body as a screen to prevent Darlington from filming whatever has happened closer to the car. The cop then basically says, I need you to go back across the road. I need you to get off on the other side of the road, and just kind of escorts him backwards. So this is new. Again, we're not gonna hang on this for the entire show, but I do think it's worth following. This would be, I'm trying to think of what the equivalent of this would be like in another sport. The equivalent of this, Lonzo, would have been if Nikola Jokic was arrested an hour before Game 6 last night on a traffic violation. This would have been the equivalent of Patrick Mahomes. And I'm using these guys specifically because Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world right now. This would be the equivalent of Patrick Mahomes being arrested an hour and a half before the AFC title game. How do you handle that? How do you handle this? How do you handle it? Do you tell the team, sucks to be you, that your MVP is in the back of a cop car headed to jail?
Is he going to pull a Bobby Boucher at halftime and come running out of the locker room padded up? But obviously golf is an individual sport, and it's even different.
I don't think he's coming back today.
I don't know, man, because, like, they get him to jail. They book him in. I suspect, depending on what the charges are, if he is charged, depending on what the charges are, we got a texter, I believe our law enforcement texter from earlier in the morning just wrote in and said, yeah, it is. He said, if there was contact with the officer and Schefter's car, even if instigated, Scheffler, not Adam Schefter, he's not involved in this at all. If there was if contact between the officer and Chef's car, even if instigated by the cop, they may go battery on a law enforcement officer, which is absolutely a possibility.
That's what I mean from Darlington's original post. That's kind of what it sounded like.
Yeah.
So and there's no nonsense, no nothing with that. Of course, you're going to jail right away.
Yeah. So if the law enforcement officer saw Scotty Scheffler driving past him, said stop the car, if Sheff did not stop the car, and the cop specifically, and especially if like the cop was in front of the car, right? If he took a step over or was just already there and Sheff kept going, then they'll absolutely charge him with this. What I'm interested in now is what is Scotty Scheffler booked in on, and how long before does he get the opportunity to make bail? Is that something he has to wait to go see a judge for? Is there a judge working this morning in Louisville, Kentucky that would set bail for him that quickly?
See, I
don't know how all that works.
You gave examples of team sports. On those team sports, especially the NFL, this happens. Doesn't matter who they are. They're not playing in that game. Even if they get back in time, the NFL would not let them play in that game. So will the PGA allow him to play if he made it back in time? I don't think they can.
I would say this. I think if this was, I'm trying to think of another a player comparison. If this was Kansas City's left guard, yeah, you're probably right. If this is Patrick Mahomes,
I disagree with you. I don't think it matters who it is, because if the incident is what's implied with the police officer having his hand on the car somewhere and he kept going, wouldn't matter who it was.
Here's the other angle of this. And this is what I would be interested in seeing. Was the cop who stopped Scotty Scheffler initially, was he wearing body cam? Because I would say there is, to me, it's standard in some states, but I don't think it's mandatory across the country. So I don't know. It is. And so I do not know what the rules are. I also believe in some states it's actually even department to department, county to county, municipality to municipality. So I don't know. If he was, and he shows it, and he's going, stop the car, and Scotty keeps on driving, then yeah, Scotty's got a problem. But if he says stop the car, puts his hand on the hood, Scotty immediately stops and gets out, I could chalk this up to a misunderstanding. In fact, I hope it is a misunderstanding. I hope this is a misunderstanding. I hope that Scotty's going to get there and he's going to go, look, I got a text from the PGA Tour that said, golfers welcome on the course. Come on down. Get your warm-up swings in. It's going to be a long day. And I was at the gate. And there was a cop there. I assumed it was for everybody else. I could chalk this up as a misunderstanding. And my question's going to be, if it does later in the day come out that it is indeed a misunderstanding and Scotty Scheffler is released, whether it's on bond or because the cops go, we reevaluated the situation, and after looking at body cam footage, we realized it was a misunderstanding. He's free to go. Does the PGA let him play on the end? I don't know, man. I don't think he's playing today. I will agree with that. Because even if he was, the time it would take for him to get back from jail, get to the course, get on the course. Now the fans are there, so you got to work through that. This thing's ugly. All right, let's get items 2 and 3 in the cheat sheet when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Or don't. I mean, you could
just hang on Scotty Scheffler for.
Well, no, you could talk about those items without saying that they're those items.
I gotta step it away for a minute. Be right back. The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Special guest joining us on the show now, and I emphasize the word special because what we saw out of this young man in a 3-2 win for the Greenville Triumph last weekend was nothing shy of special. I think it could be more aptly defined as exceptional. He plays defense for your Greenville Triumph. He is Jamie Smith joining us here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Jamie, what's up, big fella? How we feeling, bud?
I'm good, mate. You're too kind to me with those words. How are you doing?
I'm doing exceptional, man. And no, I don't think I'm too kind. I think I'm very accurate. What the hell? You uncorked the biggest banger I've seen in a long time last weekend, man. How did that feel watching that thing rocket?
Yeah, no, it was a really good strike. I was really happy for it to go in, but more importantly, get the result, of course. But yeah, I don't think I'll hit a sweeter one for a very long time. So definitely letting that one sink in.
I was gonna say, if you're power ranking all-time career goals for you, why is that one number one? Because that was ridiculous, dude.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what I was thinking at the time, to be honest, but it just felt too nicely. So yeah, it just came off and hit it too sweet for my liking. But when it goes flying in the top corner, you can't complain. So.
Not at all. Not at all. You know, we've heard athletes of really every sport, Jamie, talk about sometimes when you're in that flow, sometimes the biggest moments come when you're not thinking, when you're just acting. When that ball fell to you, because it had come off of a rebound off a goal-scoring opportunity that Tormenta thought they had cleared. When that ball set up for you, was there any thought, or did you just kind of click into auto mode and realize I've got a chance to do something special here?
Yeah, I think it just, like I said, it just set up so nicely. I was probably still frustrated after the chance that we missed like 5 seconds before and the fact that we didn't take the lead then. So, but no, it just set up so nicely. And obviously having one earlier in the game, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, like I said, maybe the chance before it forced me into hitting that one. And, you know, sometimes they end up in row Z or 40 yards over the car park. So yeah, so that one to fly in, I'll take it.
Jamie Smith is, I'm going to go ahead and say, defender and part-time striker for the Greenville Triumph after the game he had this past weekend, a 3-2 win over Tormenta. Talk to me a little bit about the team and the chemistry that you've been able to build this year, Jamie, because you have become a focal piece of the starting 11. You are absolutely a fan favorite. As somebody who is front row every match, I can tell you that for a fact. Talk to me a little bit about the chemistry you've developed with the team and with the community during your time here with the Triumph.
Yeah, no, it's a really good city. It's a really good place to be. The team we've got this year, we've got a lot of quality and a lot of intelligent players that can do multiple jobs all over the field. So the coaching staff did really well over the off season to bring in some key players that, you know, have played a big part for us already. And yeah, we're just riding this wave at the moment and trying to continue to build on what we've started this season. So like I said, it's just a start right now, but it's a good start. So it's a good platform to build on. And like I said, the fans are turning out week in, week out. And hopefully we can get some more there if we keep bringing results in.
We are talking with Jamie Smith, defender for the Greenville Triumph after a 3-2 win against Tormenta, getting set for a couple of roadies back-to-back here. Jamie, I want to talk a little bit about, you mentioned the team and the offseason and the building of this roster. And is for those of us as fans who have watched the transition from the John Harkes era to the Rick Wright era, we've also watched a little bit of a youth movement on this team with players like Zion, Mohamed Say coming over from Clemson, but there are still the vets on this team, the Tyler Pollocks that have been here for the entire ride, and also some newcomers that are kind of in the middle. This is as varied of a roster as we have seen the Triumph put forward at any point in the going on 6-year history now. As kind of somebody who's in the middle of all those groups, talk to me about what the dressing room has been like as you guys have kind of tried to hit your stride early in the season.
Yeah, I mean, I said this in the interview the other day, but what John did for the club was brilliant over the 5 years, you know, to set those foundations for the club and obviously get that star on the jersey. So, and Rick obviously worked alongside him with that. So, you know, to keep a core group within, I think was important over the off season. You know, you didn't want to change everything because then, you know, who knows what would have happened, but to have that core group come back with like, you know, 8 or 9 guys, I think it was, really helped, you know, set that foundation to then have other guys come in and, you know, almost slide straight in and fit into the culture really well. So, yeah, we've brought in some really good players, but, you know, we've kept that core group of players like Tyler Poe, like Evan Lee, like Brandon Fricky, guys that have been here for a long time that know what the club's about. And, you know, it's definitely helped us and helped everyone fit in that's been signed.
This team has been just a joy to watch. And I know not every result has gone the way that you wanted, specifically first match of the Jaeger Cup. Obviously, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup ended a bit of a sour note despite a very difficult draw for Greenville on the way through. I know the Jaeger Cup is still active, but we're kind of about to hit really the meat and potatoes of the early part of the USL League One season. So when you guys have had so many different things to focus on, obviously, you know, first year under Rick, new guys on the roster, old guys trying to fit in, the Jaeger Cup, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Now that we're kind of dialing in on the USL League One season, how do y'all make sure that the focus is on working towards bringing more hardware back to Greenville, South Carolina?
Yeah, I mean, at the start of the season, we had objectives that we set ourselves as a team for things that we want to achieve. And, along that step, we have to take it one game at a time. I know it's very cliche to say, but you have to. You can't think too far ahead, and you can't think about the past too much either. You can only think on your next game and try and get better from there. So, yeah, we're always focused on that next game. Obviously, we have Richmond this weekend, so we'll think about travelling there. Get ready to and prepare to play them. They gave us a tough game at home last time in the Jaeger Cup. So, playing teams in different competitions, but it doesn't change our objectives of wanting to win every game. So, yeah, we'll always focus on that next game, Richmond next, and obviously go to Spokane the week after. So, yeah.
All right, as a player, obviously we saw what happened last time Richmond came down, a game I think Greenville likely to be favored to win on the score line. Didn't go our way. Is there a little revenge factor for you? Like, does that creep in? Is there a little bit of we want that one back, now we want to go to their house and get level?
I mean, yeah, there's always a factor in it. You have especially when we're playing those sort of teams, maybe 4 times a season, you have that opportunity to go and play them again and get back at them if there was a result that didn't go your way earlier before. But no, we can't be too emotional about anything. Like I said, we focus on ourselves first and foremost, and our objectives of trying to win the game. And we have ways that we've got to figure out how to win the game. So as long as we score goals, don't concede any, I think we'll be all right. But yeah, we'll just see how it goes this weekend in Richmond.
We are talking with Jamie Smith, defender for the Greenville Triumph. Scored a brace last weekend against Tormenta in a 3-2 win. Jamie, you've got, though being from the UK, obviously, have some connection to the upstate. You played your first year of college ball with Limestone College, also spent some time with the NC State Wolfpack. Has playing across the Carolinas prepared you somehow to be a member of the Greenville Triumph? Like, does playing in the States, in the Carolinas, where you got really your feet wet in this community, obviously you come from a footballing background, but did playing in the Carolinas kind of prepare you to represent the crest?
Yeah, I don't think anything prepared me to play in Gaffney, South Carolina. When I first came over, to be honest, I didn't really know too much about Limestone, but I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I always said that my college career, I got to experience every part of it, going to a small college like Limestone, which was great for me. I learned a lot about myself there. And then obviously going to NC State, which is obviously a big state school, gave me that, different lease of life, I guess, with it being such a wider community there. So, like I said, playing in the Carolinas and all over the Carolinas, I've settled in here really well, and I enjoy living here. It's a great place to be. And like you said, to have my family here now is even better as well. So, yeah, I can't complain.
Jamie Smith, defender for the Greenville Triumph, here on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Those of us in the supporter section, those of us in the fans, Jamie, we have watched you not just obviously put a couple of bangers into the back of the net, but really kind of embrace the role as a very hard knock backline player, a guy that plays very physical on the ball, that tries to alter paths of players that are making runs, etc. Do you feel like that is your strength, like that is your game, and how did you arrive at that?
Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've obviously transitioned more into a central back, and I've always wanted to be physical. I've always wanted to have that physical aspect about my game. But I think with the modern day centre backs now, they're also good on the ball as well. So there's definitely an adaptation into that that comes in over a period of time. But I really enjoy defending first. I think that's the most important thing, and that at the end of the day is my job. So enjoying it. But the guys around me make me look good as well. So we've got a really good team, and like you said earlier on, there's a really good chemistry right now. So long may that continue.
I mean, that's all well and good, but if you want to put a couple more 2-goal games on the record book, you're welcome to, pal.
Yeah, maybe I just shoot every time from 40 yards now. Actually, no, that's a really bad idea.
Self-recognition is important. I like that. Jamie Smith plays defense for the Greenville Triumph. Joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Jamie, your father, Dean, of course, is the manager of Charlotte FC. So the Smith family laying down footballing roots all across the Carolinas. What is that like to obviously be connected with all the success that your father has had over the years, managing some of the biggest clubs in the world, now in MLS at Charlotte FC, to have you playing professionally right down the road? How does that impact you and your career development?
Yeah, no, it's been great, honestly, this year. I think in previous years and when I was going through college, obviously he was still working back in the Premier League or Championship in England, so I wasn't ever able to go to too many of those games and didn't obviously see my family too often. But to have him over here now and only be 90 minutes down the road is something that's obviously makes me really happy. I was able to actually go to the golf tournament the weekend after our game and see him and spend the Sunday there at the Wells Fargo Championship. So little things like that that have crept into our lifestyles now is really good. And obviously I get to see my family a lot more than I maybe used to. So yeah, and he's always been a mentor for me as well. So it's always good to have him even closer in person rather than on FaceTime.
I love it. I love it. Last one for Jamie Smith, defender for the Greenville Triumph. You were born in Birmingham, England. I'm sorry, I'm from the Deep South. It's Birmingham to me. Born in Birmingham, you moved here at the age of 20. What is, in your opinion, I'm going to have you narrow it down to one thing. What is the number one difference and the number one similarity between your home in the UK and your home in the upstate of South Carolina?
The biggest difference is probably the space. I think I've always said when I'm over here, there's a lot more space. There's a lot more freedom. Not everything's on top of each other. So that would probably be the biggest difference. Similarity? You might have got me on that one, to be honest.
I like it. That just means we're going to have to circle back around and have you back on later in the season after you get some time to think about it, pal.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I love it.
To think about it. You caught me on the spot with that one.
Yeah, well, you got to do that every now and then. You put an entire soccer team on the spot last week with that goal. Jamie Smith, the brace last week for the Greenville Triumph in a 3-2 win over Tormenta. And may I also add, Jamie, you with the Jägermeister bottle has got to be the most badass soccer picture I've ever seen in my life, mate.
Yeah. We spent some time thinking about that celebration, but unfortunately, no pun intended, but it got shot down after. So, but yeah, no, we thought about that one with the cardboard cutouts, and I've still got the pictures and I've posted it, but I put make sure you drink responsibly as well. That a boy. That is the second worst decision the league's ever made. The first was not awarding you goal of the week. Jamie Smith is a defender for the Greenville Triumph, a brace last week and a 3-2 win over Tormenta here on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. My man, great to have you on the show. Enjoyed it, bud. We'll have to do it again later this season. Yeah, for sure, mate. Thank you for having me on. Anytime. Jamie Smith of the Greenville Triumph. That dude's great, man. Zoe, you would love this guy. This guy, back in week 1 or 2, was in the match, went out for a header, caught another dude in the back of the head, busted in the nose. He's bleeding down the front. He sprints to the sideline. He grabs bandages out of the trainer's stuff, jams them under both nostrils, sprints right back to the center back position, and then stopped like 3 shots on goal the rest of that match. Just a freaking tough dude. If that dude wanted to transition to middle linebacker, he would succeed. He's great.
Did he change jerseys or did he just leave the blood?
No, he rolled back out.
That's intimidating.
It was spectacular, dude. Spectacular. Jamie Smith, defender of the Greenville Triumph, thanks to him for joining us here on the show as the Triumph do get set up. They're going to be on the road for a couple of weeks. Next time back at home at Paladin Stadium will be in early June. We'll keep you up to date on their progress throughout the rest of the season. We have to run to a break. When we come back here in just a minute, we will catch up on everything in the world of sports that's not Scotty Scheffler, including the Denver Nuggets falling apart last night and the Carolina Hurricanes falling apart last night and my sanity falling apart last night because of those two teams. It's all coming up after Lonzo absolutely rocks your world with this sports flash.
Well, if you just woke up, this is going to be a surprise to you. PGA player and number 1 golfer in the world, Scotty Scheffler, was arrested and led away in cuffs in what has been reported as a traffic incident. Scheffler was on his way to play in the PGA Championship at Valhalla Golf Club. Breaking news, still breaking. When we get more details, we'll let you know about it. Gamecock baseball program started a 3-game set on the road at number 1 ranked Tennessee last night with a 9-3 loss to the Volunteers. Ty Gibb was tagged with the loss after giving up 6 earned runs in 4 innings of work. The Gamecocks had 8 hits in 34 at-bats and continue the series against the Vols today at 6:30. Hey, tune in this afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. for a brand new local show, Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Diesel get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a whole lot of fun. And it's all Wire to Wire. What holiday? So an ace yesterday and then arrested today.
Yeah.
That's...
What an up and down.
By the way, something completely different.
And now for something completely different.
Jeopardy is about to do a pop culture Jeopardy.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be
Interesting.
on Prime, I think it was.
I'm in.
So if they come to the area, try to be in, period,
Yeah.
right?
Somebody just said Scotty on the first tee this morning and posted his picture with a teardrop tattoo.
He's got some Dom cred. Right
He
now.
does.
Yeah, he does.
He does. What a heel turn from Scotty Scheffler. I feel like at the PGA Championship, Scotty Scheffler should be entitled to at least one "Do you know who I am?" to the cops. If Scotty Scheffler gets out of jail, gets back to the course, and turns in a round under par, it goes above Jordan's flu game to me. Sorry, Jordan's hangover game.
But if he did what is alleged of him doing, it would be a bad look for the PGA to let him play. I'm just,
He's not. He's not alleged of anything yet.
well,
He's alleged of misunderstanding. Well, he's not alleged of anything yet that we have seen. I wonder what
Rob,
the arresting agency is. See if we can get his mugshot as soon as it
they
drops.
took him to jail, dude.
I know. I'm saying I wonder if he's been booked yet.
I mean, it's not a misunderstanding.
Yeah, but
Usually
you
when
can be taken to jail and then released because charges weren't upheld. I mean, I haven't, but it can be done.
allegedly may know someone who might have, new life in the first break.
Up and down, no pun intended. Well played, William. Well played. Did you say new? You said new life?
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's what I thought. Just making sure. The Rob Brown Show continues. It is the Fan Upstate entering the third hour of the radio broadcast. Rob Brown and the great one, Lonzo, with you here this AM.
By the way, really quick, I know you want to get away from it, but there are people who are tuning in from time to time, and it is breaking news.
Yeah.
And someone may just be heading to work at 8:30 and hasn't looked at their phone or something.
Well, if you wonder what the great one is alluding to there, you're in the right place. It is your two-time South Carolina Broadcasters Association's a sports talk radio show of the year, The Rob Brown Show. Scotty Scheffler, the number one golfer in the world, was arrested this morning on his way to Valhalla Golf Club for his second round of the 2024 PGA Championship. Here is what we know so far. Again, we are going to get away from this because it has been the story of the AM so far. We are going to get away from it, but I still think we do have to talk about it. This morning, outside of Valhalla Golf Club, which is where the event is taking place, there was a traffic accident that involved a pedestrian fatality. Obviously, police were on scene working an investigation. They were trying to figure out what happened in the car accident. Well, Scotty Scheffler attempted to, according to ESPN, drive past police officers into the Valhalla Golf Club. I am being told that this incident happened right outside of the gate of Valhalla. We now know that early this morning, after the incident took place, the golf club and the PGA Tour alerted the golfers that they would be permitted to enter the golf club grounds. The fans would not be. They were going to delay the entrance of fans, but golfers would be allowed to enter the course to go ahead and start hitting their driving range shots and get the putting green, whatever the case might be. Scotty Scheffler, apparently, just outside of the gates to Valhalla. That's dramatic sounding. Scotty Scheffler, just outside of the gates of Valhalla, thinking that, I'm assuming, this is speculation added to the story, thinking that he's allowed to go onto the grounds of the course, tried to drive around a traffic officer. The officer stopped the car. Jeff Darlington used the words, and I do hope that sometime in the next couple of minutes he will clarify exactly what he meant, said that a police officer attempted to, quote, attach himself, end quote, to Scheffler's car. Scheffler then stopped the vehicle, exited the vehicle, was pushed back up against the vehicle by the police officer, was placed into handcuffs and detained. Jeff Darlington's story picks up after that. He says that he was there, he saw what happened, which makes sense. I'm assuming that some members of the media would have been allowed to start entering the grounds as well. Darlington was nearby, saw the arrest taking place, approached the officers, and was like, hey guys, do you know what you're doing here? The officers told him to back up. Scotty Scheffler was walked across the road in handcuffs by two police officers, placed into the back of a police car, and taken away to jail. One of the officers on the scene, I do not know if it was the arresting officer or not, but one of the officers on the scene approached Jeff Darlington and said, "Do you know the identity of the man that we just arrested?" Jeff Darlington said, "Yes, that is Scotty Scheffler. He is a golfer." There was a short conversation, and the police officer, according to Jeff Darlington, then told him, "There is nothing you can do. He is going to jail." And that is what we know so far. We do know now because a friend of the show, Joey B, is there in attendance at Valhalla. He has been told, or he has told me, in fact, he just sent me a picture saying that the gates of the golf club are open and that visitors are making their way onto the course. However, he does say that the rain has begun to pick up. So I would not be shocked here. I would not be shocked here if the PGA Tour, which released or was supposed to have released a update at 7:30, and let me see if I can find, because I have not seen that update yet. I haven't seen that update come across the come across the wire yet. I'm going to go to the PGA Tour Communications Twitter. According to their latest update, round 2 of the PGA Championship will begin at 8:35 a.m. All round 2 starting times are delayed by 1 hour and 20 minutes from the originally posted time. So they are going to try to fire up here in about half an hour from right now. And I actually need to go check and see what Scottie Scheffler's tee time was slated to be today because, again, I don't know. Scottie Scheffler's tee time at 10:08. So I'm going to go ahead and guess Scottie's not making it back to the course by 10:08 a.m. Wyndham Clark and Brian Harman are going to be playing a twosome today.
Unless it was a misunderstanding and he gets a police escort back, which, I mean,
Realistically could happen.
Yeah, it could.
Realistically could happen.
Probably not going to. Though,
Probably not going to. A lot of this is going to depend, as we talked about in the last hour. And again, we will get away from this at some point because I think we've pretty much hit the details of this story that are available so far. I am not an attorney. I did not stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. I have not gone to law school. One time I watched Boston Legal with William Shatner. I watch a lot of Law and Order. That's about the qualifications, the credentials that I have right now. I think this is probably going to come down to what Scottie Scheffler has been charged with. I think this is going to come down to whether or not Scottie Scheffler, who I can go ahead and guess, great one. My bet is there's an attorney on a private plane jetting to Louisville, Kentucky right now. If not, if a local one isn't already in that building with him.
So you're thinking a public defender is not what's going to happen?
I suspect, and I could be wrong, I suspect not going to be a PD work in this case. This is a big case. So I think it is going to depend on what the charges are. I think it is going to depend on the severity of the charges. I think it is going to depend on the narrative that is produced by the law enforcement officer, and I think it is going to depend on the narrative that is produced by Scottie Scheffler. I think that, if Scottie can say, hey, I got a text that said we're allowed on the course. The PGA Tour reached out to my camp and said that we are allowed on the course, so I was going on the course. Yes, I understood there was an accident. Yes, I understood that accident was being worked on and investigated by law enforcement authorities. But I was under the impression that we could enter the course. I assumed that roadblock was not there for me. And so I went to go around it. I stopped as soon as I was commanded to. I exited the vehicle as soon as I was commanded to. I turned around and accepted the handcuffs as soon as I was ordered to. I don't know, man. I think there's either he's going to get hit with some charges, in which case, while I'm sure he would love to go back-to-back, winning a golf tournament probably isn't the highest priority in Scottie Scheffler's life right now, or he's going to end up getting released somehow, bail, bond. I'm going to be real with you. I don't really understand how that system works. Fortunately, I've never had to utilize it. But he will be
Don't
released.
Look at me when you say that. Neither have I.
Oh, I was just saying it because I thought it would be funny.
Okay.
I was waiting for the sure, Rob joke that was inevitably coming.
No, instead you glanced at me like Lonzo's an expert.
I mean, your teachers had to take a couple of bracelets at some point, right? No, they were throwing desk at you.
They were never arrested.
He will be released on bail or on his own recognizance or whatever the case might be. And then the question is going to be, can he get his ass back to the golf course? And if so, would the PGA Tour be willing to, based on, let's say, extenuating circumstances, allow him to pick up a spot later in the last tee time off today is at 4:17 p.m. Might they let Scotty add his tee time to the last round, allow that last group to go out as a foursome perhaps, and see if he can get 18 in before sundown this evening? The other thing that is a possibility, and this is me going tinfoil cap.
You're going very positive. There's another way you can go.
Well, there's actually two more ways I can go. The next way that I could go is that the PGA Tour, in order to protect themselves either from not including Scotty Scheffler and facing some sort of issue down the line, A, or B, looking at it and going, Scotty Scheffler's kind of the biggest draw on TV right now. They go, oh, sorry, guys, it's raining. We're not sending anybody out. We're going to delay round 2 till Saturday, Sunday's round 3, Monday's round 4, and give Scotty the day to make it back to the course.
They are watching the Weather Channel right now, knowing that they could very definitely use the weather as an excuse.
Oh, I promise you, somewhere in the tour administration tent right now, there is some guy who has got up like the NORAD lightning tracker, and he is holding a tape measure up to the computer screen to wait and see if a lightning crack happens somewhere within the shut it down range of the event.
And then there's the worst case scenario, and that's that he actually did bump the police officer with his car, in which case he's not going to be there this weekend.
In which case he is staying in jail until he gets in front of a judge, potentially through the weekend. Texas said if it's a ticket, he's going to court. If it's a warrant for a felony, the DA will totally fold and throw the officers under the bus like they always do. I mean, I think you're making a relatively large assumption there, Texter. I think you're making a couple of them. Number one, we do not know if it. First off, can you be taken to jail for a traffic ticket? Would this just be a traffic ticket? I assume if my man got put in the silver bracelets and thrown in the back of that white flashy car, he's probably not caught a, reckless driving citation.
My understanding, it depends on where you are, and that you can be taken to jail for a traffic. Because anytime I've gotten pulled over, which has been in a long time ago, I've been told, I could take you to jail. This was in Ohio when I was exceeding the speed limit. I would never do such a thing here, of course.
No, of course not. I mean, I know that there are parameters within it. Like there's a X amount over the speed limit becomes a felony speeding, in which case you can be arrested, versus a misdemeanor speeding where you just get a citation.
Ask a Georgia player, and they could probably help you with that.
Good joke. I like that. Very good joke. I like that a lot. Second thing is, I don't know what the officers did, right? I don't know what the officers did. I don't know their reaction. And as much as, so that we are clear, I have immense respect for our law enforcement officers. At the same time, I think we've seen enough body cam footage to know that they're people and they make mistakes too.
And you're on edge. A pedestrian has just died because of probably reckless driving.
Yeah.
And then you have someone kind of doing the same sort of thing, trying to go around stuff.
Yeah. Cops are people too. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. There's any number of ways that this thing plays out.
Or again, maybe the cop did everything like he was supposed to.
By the book, Scotty Scheffler stays in jail for the weekend, sees a judge on Monday. Who knows? We'll keep an eye on this as it develops. But Rick texted the show and said, for the love of money, enough of Scotty, get on with the show. So since Rick has demanded we move on with the show, we will move on with the show. When we come back, we talk some NBA basketball. The Denver Nuggets get absolutely blasted by the Timberwolves last night. The Carolina Hurricanes out of the Stanley Cup playoffs after they eat a embarrassing-ass loss to the New York Rangers last night. We'll talk about that. We'll get you set up for the sports weekend and more. It's going to be a busy back hour 45 on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
New life.
All right, guys, quick live read, and we're coming back. Stay right there for me. I mean, dude, that looks legit, bro.
It does look.
That looks legit.
That doesn't mean it is. I mean,
Correct.
People do really good work. So
So I'm searching the inmate site.
Golf Digest. I just looked it up. I don't know if it's. They have a golden check.
They have a what?
A golden check mark.
Oh,
which makes them very legitimate. He is in the orange jumpsuit.
Oh, dude!
I will.
He went to jail. That's one of the first things that happens.
I'm going to send this to you because this is a no, that's the wrong one. This is no, just you, not yet. A close up of the picture. Looks kind of smug. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know how you're supposed to look in a mugshot.
Well, infuriating is that we're talking about Scotty Scheffler as a grown-ass man. He was born in 1996.
It's not like a Nick Nolte mugshot,
yeah,
but it's, I mean, some of you don't know what that is. Nick Nolte is an actor, and look it up, Nick Nolte's mugshot. That's a mugshot. Oh, someone cut it.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Cut the video with Austin. The entire video.
I'm gonna tell you this. If anything went wrong in the process from arrest to booking, if they did anything not by the book and it cost them this golf tournament, Scotty Scheffler is going to get a lot of money from the Louisville, Kentucky Police Department. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. Rick, I'm not going to spend the whole segment on it, so relax. But Scotty Scheffler's mugshot has just hit the internet. And as Lonzo pointed out, you said he looked
smug.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you why. Because if anything from the arrest to the booking, if anything went wrong, if there was one thing that was done not by the book, if his right was violated in any way, shape, or form from start to finish, and this arrest cost him this golf tournament, Scotty Scheffler is going to get a lot of money from the state of Kentucky.
People are so mean. Someone X'd, imagine getting a green jacket, a plaid jacket, and an orange jumpsuit in a 4-week time span.
I will tell you that the internet's a terrible place, and I very much love it. Very, very much love it. All right, let's get to some of the discussions ongoing around the rest of the world of sports. I found an article that was on Pro Football Talk. Headline, no, Kirk Cousins wouldn't have signed with the Falcons if he'd known their draft plan. This was posted on Pro Football Talk as an editorial, no name attached to it. And the article basically says that based on the interview answers that Kirk Cousins has given since the time that Michael Penix Jr. was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons, that there is an ongoing belief right now that Kirk Cousins would have said no to Atlanta. And that may be very well true. It may be very well true. So that we're clear, I like Kirk Cousins. Kirky. Big fan of Kirky. I like Kirk. We're both Coles bros. We're both short sleeve button up pattern shirt bros. If somebody wants to make me a 24 karat giant necklace with the show logo hanging off the end, I'll absolutely wear it and dangle it on the stream every day. I like Kirk Cousins. He's a goofy, likable guy. All right. And also, he kind of needs to get over all of this, if we're being honest. He's kind of guy. Now, I'm going to give Kirky a little credit here.
Please stop.
I'm going to give him credit in that he has done a couple of media appearances since the drafting of Michael Penix Jr. He was on a podcast called Bussin' with the Boys that published earlier this week.
You never watched that before?
I have not.
You should.
I
think you would like it. A couple ex-NFL players. They're actually on a bus doing the podcast. They're pretty good.
Who's the host?
A couple of NFL ex-football players. Forget their name.
Nailed it.
You know I'm struggling with names lately.
Nailed it.
I don't remember the names. Taylor Lewan, I think is
Will
one.
Compton and Taylor Lewan.
Yeah. So I got there.
I'll watch anything Taylor Lewan does.
Yeah.
So I'm in.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'll have to pick this up. I like Will Compton too, but Taylor Lewan's a dude, man. He's a dude. Anyway, on that podcast, Kirk Cousins, Kirky, was asked to his face, are there any hard feelings? Is there any beef after the drafting of Michael Penix Jr.? And Kirky said, quote, I don't think there can be. I don't think it's helpful. We're trying to win a Super Bowl, and it's hard enough. It's hard enough. Let's all be on the same page and try to go win a Super Bowl. Cousins was asked during media availability this week if he would have signed with the Falcons had he known their draft plans. He said, quote, I don't really deal in hypotheticals. We could go down that path for a long time in a lot of ways. It just doesn't do us any good. So I'm excited for this opportunity I have. I think it's a real privilege to be a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons, and I'm trying to make good on the opportunity given to me with the way I work each day and the way we play this fall, end quote. So I'm intrigued by this. I'm intrigued for a handful of reasons. I have given you the reason, and it is a good one, that the Atlanta Falcons drafted Michael Penix. I'm not saying you have to like it. I'm just saying it's a good reason. The reason being that Atlanta expects to be a playoff team. And honestly, there are two teams in the NFC South that may have those expectations, Tampa Bay and Atlanta. I don't think the Saints can expect to be a playoff team. I know the Carolina Panthers can. So they expect to be a playoff team. And not only do they expect to be a playoff team this year with Kirk Cousins, but they expect to be a playoff team next year with Kirk Cousins as well, which means that unless they make some moves, the Atlanta Falcons will likely not be in a position to draft the first-round quarterback, or at least not one that they believe to be a franchise quarterback, for 3 to 4 to 5 plus years away. So get him now when you had the opportunity. Get him now when you got the chance. That is the belief. That is my belief, anyway. So, with that being said, I think that Kurt is a little ticked, and frankly, I get it. Because if I came down to play QB, I would expect that after you paid me $180 million or whatever it is, that you would have gone out of your way to sign a player that would have given us an immediate opportunity to get better. So this is not me not understanding Kirk Cousins, because I very much do get it. But I do think at the same time, the longer that this goes on, and the more that these conversations take place, and the more fans gripe about it, and the more that the media repeatedly ask Kirk, do you have a problem? 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 If any of y'all have been in a long-term relationship, you know that there is a point. Zoe, you can maybe attest to this. There is a point where you ask your significant other, hey, are you okay? And they go, yeah, I'm fine. And then a few minutes later, you're like, they're not okay. Hey, hun, are you okay? And they go, yeah, I'm fine. And then a few minutes later, you're like, I don't think they're okay. Hey, honey, are you okay? And then they go, now I'm not. Now I'm aggravated because you won't stop asking me if I'm okay.
Well, and in between those times you're asking, you're going through your mind, okay, What did I do? What did I do? This is all my fault. I did something.
Did I
what did I
take
do?
out the
Why can I not
trash?
think of what I didn't or did do? I don't know what I did.
Did I forget to do the dishes? Did I not wash the dog? Like, what did I do or not do to make her not okay with me? And I think that the longer this conversation goes on, the more, frankly, understandable it would be that Kirk Cousins goes, yeah, I'm not okay, but maybe not. Here's what I do know. The Atlanta Falcons are, in my opinion, on paper, the best team in the NFC South this year. It sickens me to say that. I hate the Dirty Birds, but I do think they are the best team on paper in the division this year.
If they could get out on the field and he can see him play, Kirk Cousins can see him play, and then he'd think, you know what? Never mind, I'm good.
Maybe. He could get out there and be great. He could get out there and stink because the Achilles isn't all the way. There's a million ways it could go. But here's the thing. If it goes great, cool. Michael Penix Jr. gets a couple of years to ride the pine, learn the game, get ready, get prepared. And don't tell me it won't work, Jordan Love. Now, I'm not saying that the conversation, the comparison between the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers situation is the same as the situation with Kirk Cousins and Michael Penix Jr. All I'm saying is Jordan Love rode pine for a couple of years, and based on what we saw last year, came out the end probably better for
I
it.
think that sample size is too small. There's some better examples. Steve Young being behind Joe Montana. The quarterback you just mentioned being behind Brett Favre.
Yep, Aaron Rodgers.
I think those two guys came out and became great players, Hall of Fame players. We don't know that with Jordan Love yet. It's only been 1 year.
That's very fair. I will say he had a pretty successful 1 year. Will that carry on to year number 2? I don't know. We'll find out. But the point is, if Kirk Cousins does great. You've got the opportunity for a young Love, whatever comparison you want to use. And that's fantastic. And if Kirk Cousins comes out and he stinks, the Achilles isn't healed up, he's hobbled, he's half speed, whatever, well, now you got a top 10 NFL quarterback draft pick on the bench waiting in the wings to step in and not miss a step. See, everybody keeps leaning on you could have used the 8th overall pick to get players who could have helped you win. And that is not incorrect. Certainly is not incorrect. It is actually very correct. They could have done that. But if I asked you right now, of the 22 starting positions, which of them has the most direct impact on a football team being bad, good, or great? I'm not asking you as a question. The answer is quarterback. We all know that. That's why Jared Goff just got a $212 million extension. Because a quarterback is the single most important spot on a football field if you're putting weight on the position that makes the team good or not good. So if you're Atlanta and you recognize that the division is ripe for the taking right now, and I do think you kind of have to lean into the narrative that Dave Canales makes a quarterback, and that is why this happened. But if you believe that that is the case, as I do, if you believe that it is the case that Dave Canales made Baker Mayfield and that the Buccaneers are going to take a step back this year, the division is yours for the taking now. And while you are, I think, wonderfully happy to have Kirk Cousins as your quarterback based on the year he was having last year, I have to point out 2 things once again. Number 1, Kirk Cousins ain't won a damn thing in the postseason in his career, and he's 36. And number 2, he's 36. The likelihood of him finishing a season without a major injury decreases year by year. And so if he either A, stinks, or B, the later the season goes and he starts folding under pressure, or C, the Achilles breaks on him again. And for the record, I hope none of those things happen. I hope he doesn't win a postseason award. I do. I'm a Saints fan. Judge me. I don't want him to get hurt. But if you're Atlanta and you believe the division is yours for the taking this year, if you are entering this year thinking you are already playing with a full house and you can only go up, having a quarterback to step in and play quarterback, if your quarterback can't quarterback anymore, is a pretty good plan B. Pretty good plan B. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back here in just a minute. We are still looking at the NFL schedule as it was released yesterday. They're going off on the TV right now about the Jets having 6 primetime games in the first 11 weeks of the season.
I'm just trying to figure out when White got in his hair. What is that lighting? That's weird.
That almost looks intentional, dude.
Yeah, it does.
That almost looks like anime color hair. It's wild. Let's take a break. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
At first, I thought he was wearing a sweater also, and that would have made sense. It's like, yeah, let's just do it. No more color, no more suits, sweaters and gray.
All right, guys, give me 45 seconds. I'll be right back. Appreciate y'all hanging in there. Yeah, Shane, I think I know your comparison there. So the Louisville Metro Police Department says, a source says, Scheffler refused to stop when ordered to do so by a police officer. He continued to drive and, quote, dragged the officer with his car for a short term, which is why he was detained, end quote. The officer has minor injuries. And what is interesting about this is that Jeff Darlington was right there and said the exact opposite. So this is...
Well, no.
This has got the potential
he
to be a
said
deal.
Attached himself to the car.
But then he said Scheffler immediately stopped the vehicle. So either Darlington's wrong or the LMPD is lying. And either way, somebody's getting cooked for this.
It was also dark. So maybe Darlington couldn't see as well as he
maybe so. Thought. But if so, you don't say that then. Right? Like that's journalism 101. Either Darlington's losing his job or the LMPD is about to owe Scotty Scheffler a lot of money.
Is there actually a journalism 101?
Yeah.
Well,
I have a journalism degree.
Right. That's why I'm asking you. That's why you know. Was it called that? You talked about if he has a camera on him and he shows himself being dragged.
Absolutely.
Or if there's dash cam. There could be any of that.
So we have some updates Eric Crawford is a reporter for WDRB, and he is quoting an LMPD, that is Louisville Metropolitan Police Department, quoting an LMPD source. Scheffler refused to stop when ordered to do so by a police officer. He continued to drive and, quote, dragged the officer with his car for a short time, which is why he was detained, end quote. The department is claiming that the officer has minor injuries from the incident. I'll tell you what just got created with this source from the LMPD. Which just got created as a situation where somebody's about to lose their job. One of two is about to lose their job. Either A, Jeff Darlington is, because Darlington said that Scotty Scheffler said that he stopped the car, and Darlington was right there on the scene. Oddly, coincidentally, but right there on the scene. And said that Scheffler stopped the car. Or somebody at the LMPD about to get fired because they're telling a lie. One or the other. There are two contradictory stories right now. One from Jeff Darlington, one from the LMPD. Somebody's going to lose their job over this.
All right. According to what I'm seeing now, he's being charged with second-degree assault of a police officer.
Yep, there it is.
Criminal mischief in third degree, reckless driving, and disregarding of signals from officer directing traffic.
Very interesting. Very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on this as we.
This is not, I'm going to be at the golf course later. This is, I may go to jail for a while.
Oh, this dude will be in jail till Monday for sure. Unless there is a judge working cases that will maybe expedite his case. But we'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. I do love that the governor of Kentucky tweeted out last night, the eyes of the world are on our great Commonwealth once again. Let's welcome them to our new Kentucky home with kindness and hospitality we're known for. Tweet aged like fine milk, Andy. Excellent work there. Excellent work. All right, let's get a few more things in here. We talked about this back in game number one, or back in hour number one, pardon me. Feels like game number one. Feels like it was that long ago at this point. Back in hour number one, we talked about it. We'll bring it back up here. The Denver Nuggets sucked last night. Like a lot, like real bad. 45-point loss for the Nuggets, 115-70, your final score in that one. It is rare. Because Rob Brown, I like awkward comedy. I really do. I was a huge fan of The Office, one of my favorite shows of all time. I love awkward comedy. I love making situations awkward sometimes. It's very amusing to me.
Hadn't noticed.
I know. I like awkward comedy. And one of the things that is a necessity, if you are a fan of awkward comedy, is the lack of ability to feel secondhand embarrassment. The lack of ability to look at someone else and think to oneself, that poor guy, that I am embarrassed for you. I am embarrassed for you at this point. That's a bad look. I felt tremendous secondhand embarrassment for the fans of the Denver Nuggets last night. If that was my team that did what the Nuggets did last night, I would have had a real tough time talking about it on the radio this morning. They did nothing right. Now, I do think that we have to give credit. No, we need to give credit to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which is interestingly enough, great one. One thing I've not seen this morning. The overwhelming majority of the takes this AM have been about Denver. Nikola Jokic collapsed. Where the hell was Jamal Murray? Aaron Gordon, what are you doing? The Nuggets got 9 bench points on the evening. When there were 6 minutes left in the third quarter of the game last night, the Nuggets had amassed a whopping 0 bench points. 0, 9, none, not a bench point. It was real bad. It was real bad. So, what happened? There's 2 things we need to discuss. The first one is that the Timberwolves are pretty good basketball players. They're just a pretty good team. Anthony Edwards, I know the joke has been ongoing about him being the son of Jordan. It's been fun. It's been great. Anthony has been good. 27 points on 8 of 17, 4 of 9 from 3 last night. Went 7 of 8 from the stripe. Karl Anthony Towns last night finally showed up. 13 boards, 5 assists in that game. That's phenomenal. Jaden McDaniels came out of nowhere. 31 minutes played, 8 of 10 from the floor, 21 points on the night. He was the X factor. Mike Conley got back on the floor. He'd been dealing with that injury. 5 of 9, 3 of 6 for 13 last night. A role player who got back onto the score sheet. Second off, I think Minnesota deserves a ton of flowers for their defensive effort last night. Last night was one of the first games where Rudy Gobert wasn't flat out owned by Nikola Jokic. And there was a reason for that. To me, and what I saw as a knower of ball, what I saw was a dramatic shift in the way that Minnesota was playing their defense. In the last couple of games, Denver went back to the offense that worked so well for them in the regular season. Denver went back to playing Nikola Jokic at the free throw line, not on the block, at the free throw line. Nikola Jokic went back to receiving the basketball either at the free throw stripe or on the elbow on either side. And what was happening was they were sending Rudy Gobert up after him. Rudy Gobert was squaring up with Nikola Jokic. And then Minnesota, if they ran a double team at Jokic, would send it either from a block or a wing. Well, if you send a player from the block of the wing, that means there's no defensive player on the block of the wing. And Nikola Jokic was just handing out assists like they were free in the last 2 games. And it worked, which is why Jokic is a triple-double threat every time he gets on the floor. That's not what Minnesota was doing last night. What Minnesota was doing last night was fronting Nikola Jokic at the line, at the elbow. They were fronting him so the ball was difficult to get to the inside. And once the ball was on the inside, the second defender was on him like white on rice, as the expression goes. They covered him up and they took away his ability to get the ball inside. To whoever it was that was going to be underneath the rack or out on the short corner or wherever they were going to be. They took that away from him. They prevented him from being an assist guy. And because they took him away from being an assist guy, and they double teamed him so that he could not just go head down to the basket, drive through a chest, hit one of those your uncle at the YMCA little weirdo layups that he does. They effectively created a world where Nikola Jokic was ineffective, which you're not going to do very often. 9 of 19, 0 of 4 from 3. He ended up with 2 assists on the night. This is a triple-double machine. He ended up with 2 assists on the night. That is excellent work from the Timberwolves defense. You add in the fact that nobody else could hit a damn shot either. The Nuggets were 30% from the floor, 19.5% from 3. And you got yourself a recipe for a blowout. Over on the other side, the Timberwolves weren't like special. They shot 47%, 46.5% from the floor, 37.5%, 15 threes out of 40 connected on, and 83.3% from the free throw stripe. They weren't special last night. They got to 115 not because they just had a redonkulous offense. They got to 115 because Denver gave them like 90-11 extra possessions last night. End of story. How about this number? Lonzo, what would you say is a commendable number of turnovers in an NBA game? Like a number where if they go under this number, you're like, you had a pretty good night.
6.
That's remarkable. That's exactly how many turnovers the Minnesota Timberwolves had last night. 6 turnovers in the game. They created 12. Rebounds. They out-rebounded the Nuggets 62-43. Again, that's a team with Nikola Jokic on it. Jokic had 9 boards on the night. The Nuggets had 43. The Timberwolves had 62. That's why they scored 115. If the Nuggets were putting the brown thing and the round thing just a hair more frequently, this game would have been a hell of a lot closer. You'd have added probably 10, 20 points to the Nuggets score. You'd have taken probably 10, 20 off of the Timberwolves score. We're meeting somewhere in the middle. But the Minnesota Timberwolves defense was exceptional. They removed Nikola Jokic and nobody else answered the bell. Now, you're not going to be able to do that every game. Nikola Jokic will adjust. Michael Malone will adjust. You will see adjustments from Denver in Game 7. But you had to force a Game 7. You had to get to Game 7. You had to earn Game 7, and the Timberwolves did. I'm impressed, honestly. Like, I'm impressed enough that I said yesterday on this show, I think the Timberwolves win Game 6, but I'm going all in on the Nuggets to win Game 7 at home. That's not true anymore. I can't go all in on the Nuggets, who are 4.5-point favorites, to win at home. I can't do it. Because what I saw last night, it is not about Nikola Jokic. I mean, it is. It is. Nikola has got to figure out what he's going to do about those double teams to work around him. But man, if I can't get Jamal Murray shooting better than 4 of 18 for 10 points, if I can't get Michael Porter Jr. shooting better than 3 of 9 and 1 of 6 from deep for 8 points, if I can't get Kentavious Caldwell-Pope to shoot better than 2 of 6, all of them 3-pointers, if I can't get some damn body else to help Nikola Jokic, might be a very, very disappointing offseason for the Denver Nuggets.
Not going to hit the glass, but according to Adam Schefter, Scotty Scheffler is on his way to Valhalla.
I want you to know, Scotty Scheffler has the opportunity to do something today that we are talking about decades from now. Scotty has an opportunity to have a Jordan flu game day today. He has an opportunity to have a, who was the cat that lost their finger in an NFL game and then played through it? That kind of day.
He asked for that finger to be removed.
It's still lost. It's still gone.
Well, true.
He ain't got a finger.
It's a pinky.
He has the opportunity to have a Paul Pierce wheelchaired off the court, triumphant, miraculous return kind of day.
You should have went with Willis Reed, not Paul Pierce, because no one, I mean, come on.
That was so incredible. Oh, we're down 25. I need a wheelchair. Oh, we're back down 2? I'm good, coach. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play.
I don't know. This also has narrative written all over it that he is able, with those charges, to be released and be back doing his job with it. I mean, that's this is going to be a major debate about, you know, if this was somebody else, there's no way he gets out that quick.
I mean, of course it
but
is.
There is this one thing that people probably won't take into account. He's rich.
That is a major factor.
So if they say
in the criminal justice system,
bail is this much, he can say, yeah, I got that.
Yeah. Him in my wallet. I got that in cash, homie.
Well, he probably didn't have his wallet with him since they didn't know who he was.
That's true.
So, yeah.
That's true. Was it Ronnie Lott with a finger? Texture said it was Ronnie Lott.
That was Ronnie Lott. Yeah.
It was. Let's see. Now I got to go find that. Now this is what I'm reading. And then there, according to Sports Illustrated, and then there is Ronnie Lott, who famously had his broken pinky finger amputated in April of '86 to avoid the long recovery time that would have followed reconstructive surgery. The decision has since been simplified in pro football lore as heroic, the extreme act of a warrior, or maybe just a football lunatic. I'm going to go lunatic. I'm going to lean towards lunatic. Hell of a competitor, absolute psychopath.
A lunatic can be a warrior also.
I think you kind of got to be a little bit of a lunatic to be a warrior. Still a lunatic. Just so we're very clear. All right, we will find out. We will check back in coming up on this Scotty Scheffler story. The Jay Busby from yahoosports.com, friend of the show, has just tweeted out and confirmed that Scotty Scheffler is on his way back to Valhalla and is scheduled to arrive there in 6 minutes from right now. A 9 o'clock arrival. He is still slated to tee off at his just after 10 o'clock tee time.
He's going to make his tee time. This is going
to be amazing.
I
hope he goes out and shoots yesterday, Xander Schauffele put up a 62. First time in a major anybody's got a 62. Course record, major championship first round record, major championship round record 62. Scotty's going for a 61 today. Flu game, baby.
And no, everyone is wondering if he'll play in the jumpsuit. No way he plays in the jumpsuit.
No chance.
I don't think that golf course would allow it.
Scheduled to arrive at Valhalla at 9 a.m. and his tee time is 10:08. I am going to tell you, he's running on Rob Brown casual Sunday round time. I'm at the course maybe an hour before we tee. I'm on the range for 25 minutes. I'm in the bar for 10, and then we're off, boys. I love this.
Keegan says the jumpsuit has a collar, so he's good.
All right. We'll keep an eye on this. I'm going to tell you right now. So when this show is over, because I got a Liberty game tonight, when this show is over, I have 8 minutes to make the 15-minute drive to my house because there's a camera on Scotty Scheffler all damn day, and I'm going to be watching it. I can't wait. Chance to play hero ball today.
Or you could just go watch it in the office and wait for
75-inch.
Wait for a commercial break. Then you'll have plenty of time to get there.
I want to see every blade of grass that Scotty impacts today. Scotty Scheffler, all-time historic moment.
Don't make me watch golf on a Friday. Come on.
Another all-time historic moment is anytime Lonzo does a sports flash.
Yeah, and reads it correctly. The Gamecock baseball program started a 3-game set on the road at number 1 ranked Tennessee last night with a 9-3 loss to the Volunteers. Ty Good was tagged with the loss after giving up 6 earned runs in 4 innings of work. The Gamecocks had 8 hits and 34 at-bats, and continue the series against the Vols today at 6:30. Clemson started their final conference series of the year with a 12-10 win over Boston College at home. BC jumped out early with a 5-run first inning off of Ethan Darden that included multiple errors. Clemson battled back with runs in every inning between the 2nd and 6th. And put up 3 in the bottom of the 8th to take the lead. Clemson continues the series today at 1 p.m. You know what also continues? Our brand new show this afternoon from 3 to 7. It is Wire to Wire. Cole Bryson and Dees will get you up to date on the latest local and national sports news. Great guests, great debate, and a lot of fun. Wire to Wire. There were some stumbles, but, stuck the landing. Minor deductions.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business. And we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need and a service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
Celebrate Viva's music scene every Thursday night through August 29th at Miller Square. Free outdoor natural gas.
Look at that. Looks like it's going to rain. Yay. Why does it keep looking like the audio isn't there? I saw that on yours earlier.
What's that?
It looks like the wave isn't there when you're looking at Omni.
The wave?
The audio wave.
Oh.
Not an actual wave, but you know, it has me worried that there's no audio, but it was there a second ago and now it's gone. Let me hit play and see what happens.
Everything's.
Yep. It's there. That was the remix. Prize picks.
Prize picks.
First break.
First break.
We've been talking golf all morning, though, Wesley, and I broke the story. So, yeah, I probably will watch a little bit because I'm interested to see if there are like helicopters over. It's a no-fly zone over something like this, though, right? Maybe drones or something.
Yeah. Final hour of the day, final hour of the week is underway now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is the Fan Upstate. I really hope Scotty Scheffler goes off and has like the game of his or the round of his life today. Round of his life. Break Xander Schauffele's round record the day after he made it.
Let's face it. It's probably going to be the opposite of that. Like not making the cut type thing.
0% chance he misses the cut.
You spend some
0%.
You spend some time somewhere. I'm guessing it messes with you. I don't know. Did he actually make it into a cell though? I don't know. Maybe a holding cell.
Well, I mean, he's in a mugshot, so he for sure was in a holding cell for at least
but I'm saying he
bit of time.
wasn't in there in general population or something. I mean, you know, more than likely.
I mean, if they figured out who he was.
Well, they had the name right and everything on the on his mugshot report.
Yeah, they did.
So.
They did. And of course, somebody has just popped out an AI image of a guy hitting an iron shot wearing a jumpsuit and handcuffs. The internet is an awful place that I absolutely adore. I really do. All right. We have talked this morning a little bit about last night's game. We have got a couple more games coming up today, obviously, I think just one more game in the NBA as we are set for New York and Indiana this evening. The Pacers, a 6.5-point favorite. This one's at Indiana. I got to tell you, I kind of am leaning Indiana tonight. I don't know if I like 6.5, big number, but I kind of am leading Indiana to win tonight. You put an NBA teams back against the wall. You put them into an elimination setup where the other team is not up against elimination, and you get an effort like you got out of Minnesota last night. And I think you're going to kind of get the same thing tonight for the Pacers. I also would not be shocked if this game tonight sets the record for most fouls by one team in this postseason. Because if I'm Indiana, not only am I winning this game tonight, but I am trying to beat the crap out of the New York Knicks in this game. I want to beat them black and blue tonight. I am talking straight up old school Pistons bad boy style of play. I am putting guys across the baseboard, across the baseline into the baseboards. I am racking fools tonight. Absolutely. And I'm doing that because there is a narrative going on about the New York Knicks right now. Josh Hart came out the other day and addressed it. He said he is tired of hearing about people or hearing people say that Tom Thibodeau ran this team into the ground. And I believe that is true. I believe that is true. I bet you are tired of hearing it. My dude, they're only saying it because that's what's happened.
Yeah, but it's a narrative that's followed Thibodeau everywhere he's coached. And the thing is, I mean, they're there where they are for a reason. And a lot of it has to do with his coaching.
Oh, absolutely. And let's be clear. This is a team that has 3 starters, I think, dating back to Julius Randle being lost in the regular season. This is a team that has been playing through this series down 3 of their 5 opening day starters. Great one. If I told you that your favorite basketball team was going to be a game away from making the conference finals and you did not have 3 of the 5 starters you started with, you'd say, no, that's not a thing. But here they are. And Thibodeau's done that. But here's the reality. Regardless of the reason that it has happened, if you go look at any given box score from these games, game number 1, 3 bench players played for the New York Knicks. One of them played 4 minutes. The other 2 played for 11 minutes and 12 minutes, respectively. I go back to game number 2, another game that the New York Knicks won. In that game, the New York Knicks played 3 bench players. One of them played 1 minute. You had 3 starters who played just about the full game. Game number 3, that was a game that the Pacers ended up winning, 111-106. In that game, the Knicks played 3 bench players. One of them for 4 minutes. In game number 4, that's a game the Pacers fell to the Knicks, 121-91. In that game, the Knicks did play 6 bench players. 4 of them played 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 3 minutes, and 3 minutes. So you really played 2 bench players, effectively. I know that you're tired of hearing about Tim Thibodeau running players into the ground. Tom Thibodeau running players into the ground. But he has. However, he's had to. You guys, as we have mentioned, are down 3 starters. Here's my thing. I could be wrong, but doesn't it feel, Zoe, like at some point when you've got players that are getting 44, 46 minutes every game, and they're playing a team that gets up and down the floor like Indiana does, doesn't it kind of feel like at some point the legs wear out? Doesn't it kind of feel like at some point that team's just got to hit a level of exhaustion that starts to impact the game directly and immediately?
I do get what you're saying, but at the same time, these are world-class athletes, and this is what they do. So I don't know. I'd be more worried about them wearing down mentally than I would physically.
I don't necessarily think that is incorrect, and I do think the mental wear and tear is absolutely something that the New York Knicks have to consider, especially when you've had a couple of emotional games in this series. Home teams won every time. If that stays true tonight, then Indiana goes to a game 7. I do think, like I said, if I'm in Indiana, I think Mario had a great point on Wednesday. Don't tell him I said that. I think Mario had a great point on Wednesday when he said, if I'm Indiana, the one thing that I don't want to do is blow the Knicks out. I don't want to blow the Knicks out. He said, when we get to the end of this game, whether it's in regulation or overtime or double OT, when we get to the end of this game, when it's time to declare a winner, I need us to be the winner, obviously. And I want every Knicks starter still on the floor. I want to wear them down, and I want to beat the hell out of them in the process. And I think that's spot on, exactly right. I think that is spot on, exactly right. I think that's exactly what the Pacers do tonight. So I'm going to go with the Pacers at the house tonight. Tomorrow, Oklahoma City is at Dallas. The Mavs lead that series 3-2, and they go back to Dallas with elimination on the line. I am going to go, great one, with the road team in this one. For exactly what I said a minute ago, it is the NBA. Teams on the road or at home, when they are facing elimination and the other team is not, they just tend to have an extra gear to avoid embarrassment or whatever the reason might be. I really like the Mavs. I'm done doubting Luka Doncic. Busted knee and all. The dude's still racking up triple doubles. I'm done doubting Luka. I do doubt everybody else. Kyrie's been giving you 8 and 9. A guy, and again, we have been praising Kyrie Irving all season long because for the first time in a long time, it has genuinely felt like Kyrie Irving gives a damn.
All right. I'm going to disagree with you there. It's Kyrie disappears for a couple games, and then he has a game, and he's going to have a game.
So you think Mavs win this series, upset win this series, and the 5 seed moves on in tomorrow night's matchup?
I do.
Or do you think it's game 6? Over?
No, I think that the Mavs win this next game for sure.
A game 6 walk-off upset over the 1 seed. I am down for it. Listen, it is not to say that it can't be done. Because again, busted wheel and all, Luka Doncic has been a dude. And if the great one is correct and Kyrie decides this is the night to go classic old school Kyrie, then yeah, they'll win that game. Because we talked about this team earlier in the season, in the postseason, I should say. You may remember what my biggest concern was with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're ignorant. They're naive. They're dumb. I say that with all the due respect in the world. You can't know the pressure of a situation until you are in that situation. This is a young team. This is a team with limited playoff experience. This is a team that swept the first round of the NBA playoffs against our New Orleans Pelicans. Swept them outright. They did not have any pressure in that game. They withstood the best shot that the Pellies could give them in game number 1, and then they proceeded to beat the dog turds out of them for the next 3 in a row to take that series. It was never even close. I was texting people after game 2, like, been a fun season, guys. See y'all next year. Maybe Z will be healthy in the playoffs. They did not have any pressure on them at any point in that series. It's the exact same thing that I said made me continue to believe in the Denver Nuggets. There was no pressure on them. The difference is the Denver Nuggets and this almost exact same starting 5 are last year's champs. They know what that pressure is like. They know what it's like when they find themselves in a spot where they got to do something special, where they got to be something special. Oklahoma City does not. And now all of a sudden, they went from not just sweeping New Orleans in round 1, but opening as a heavy favorite in round 2. But here comes Luka. Here come the Mavs. Here comes Kyrie. Here come the Mavs. And they get them in a hole. So not only do you have to now win 2 in a row, not only do you have to win 2 in a row, the first one being on the road, this team's never been in a situation like this. This team's never had this pressure on them. These young guys, Chet Holmgren's never really been in this spot before. SGA's never been in this spot before, where they are favorites who find themselves in a disadvantageous position, and now they have to go on the road to make it work. That is tough. That's a big ask, to be honest with you. So I would not be shocked in the least if the great one ends up being correct here, because whereas Denver knows the pressure, has responded to pressure, has answered the bell before, Oklahoma City is not. And if you don't know what that pressure is like, you don't know how you're going to respond to that pressure. And I'm interested to see how they do. I really am. I think there's a lot to be said about having your back to the wall and having to figure out how the hell you're going to perform. Sunday night, if we get both of them, we will have game 7s. We know Timberwolves Nuggets is going to 7 on Sunday, and then Pacers Knicks. If that game does go to 7, if that series goes to 7, if 7 is necessary, that game will be on at 3:30 on Sunday in New York at MSG. And I almost kind of, I've picked Indy to win game 6. I also, as a fan, hope Indy wins game 6, because as much as I feed like an energy vampire off of the sadness of New York sports fans, Madison Square Garden game 7 with a ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals on the line will be one of the most electric sporting venues we've ever seen on a television. I kind of do want to see that. All right, let's run to a break. We got a couple of segments left. You're welcome to be a part of the show. 844-326-3663 is the number to the Renewal by Anderson to the Carolinas fan phone. Text us 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We will read them on the air. When we come back here in just a minute, I got some more hockey to talk about. Carolina Hurricanes bounced from the Stanley Cup last night. I'd like to very briefly talk about the Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk fight. That is tomorrow afternoon. It is live from Saudi Arabia, I believe. So I'll break that fight down and more. Scotty Scheffler at Valhalla, by the way. He has just showed up at 9:15.
No police escort, though.
Nope. Is he driving? Or he's got to have a driver, right? He's got to have a guy. There's no way he's driving again already. It'd be hilarious. It's a dope Range Rover.
No, not hilarious. That would be unfortunate.
I think he is, dude. I think that's him in the driver's seat. No joke.
Nah, he's whoever that is. They have a suit on.
I thought it was like a windbreaker.
He was wearing shorts and a polo. He didn't have a windbreaker with him unless someone brought him one.
Oh, we'll find out. Scotty Scheffler back at Valhalla. 10:08 tee time set up. We're back after this on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
Prize Picks.
You heard him. Be right back.
I wasn't being sarcastic.
Oh, I know.
Everyone likes Marty.
Marty's great. Marty and McGee are both great. I'm not even mad that McGee never texted me back. That's how much I like him.
Well done. I don't know. Is that true, Wesley?
That would be incredible.
Also a bad look if he really did hurt a cop. I don't know if that's true, but there's like a picture of the arresting officer. Why would they? Well, anyway.
The memes are absolutely unreal right now.
So someone or Schefter said Scotty Scheffler on his way to Valhalla. Someone tweeted, "Oh my God, they killed him."
Yep. The memes are incredible. My favorite one is the one that says LMPD today, and it's got the cop standing in front of a golf bag and golf clubs laid out on the ground like it's evidence. The memes are incredible today. I love it. Weird story. We are keeping an eye on it. Scotty Scheffler is back at Valhalla Golf Club and will be able to, though we may not get quite the warm-up that he wanted nor expected, be able to make his 10:08 a.m.
When he goes
tee time.
when he goes and sits down in the locker room, does everybody just move away from him because they don't want to be associated with a convict?
So he's a hardened criminal.
Yeah, they don't want none of that.
Got the Dom Mysterio treatment going on. All right. I started a segment back in the early portion of the show that I did not get to finish because golf. Because for the first time, and maybe in my entire career, golf became the mandatory topic.
Well, as someone mentioned earlier, because RG3 had tweeted, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And then they pointed out Tiger's wife going at him with the, that did happen. But I don't know if RG3 was alive when that happened.
Somewhere John Daly's like, what about me?
Yeah.
I did it first. All right. So I did this segment, started this segment earlier in the day. Did not get to finish it. Charlie Villanueva, former UConn Husky. A short-lived NBA career, but an NBA career nonetheless. Charlie Villanueva went on a podcast earlier this week, the Run Your Race pod. And he told the story of his very first recruiting trip that he took. I want you to listen to it. And then I got a couple of questions at the end.
My first visit was to Illinois University. Mm-hmm. I loved it. Loved it off bat. So first, I'm 17 years old. They picking me up in a private jet. I ain't never been in a private jet in my life.
Oh, what's up?
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
now from there.
And as soon as I get
with the
there,
papers.
Right?
As
soon as I get there, I'm like, all right, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Right there. All right, cool. I can't top this, but they topped it.
Yeah.
So I get there. Now I get on campus. They got 5 girls with Charlie's Angels shirts on them, following me wherever I go. Like on some he got game type.
Where's the papers, coach? I'm on the way.
So I was like, man, like this is dope. And then I had my brothers there. So we have I actually practiced with them at that time. And the crowd and the love was crazy in Illinois. So I'm like, man, this is perfect. This is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
So I committed on the spot. Like, man, I still have 4 other visits to go to.
Listen,
but I already said, yo, I'm coming.
You give somebody a 17-year-old kid a PJ.
A PJ. That's right.
And you got 5 girls sitting right here with Charlie's Angels on.
Yep, Charlie's Angels shirt on.
I'll be right back next year. You stay right there.
So, yeah, man. So that was dope. That was dope.
That was dope. That was dope.
You know, there are some people out there who don't know what Charlie's Angels is. Maybe they saw the remake, they didn't see the original, including yourself, and how big it was at that time period. And I know you pointed out Charlie's Angels is his name, Charlie, but still.
I also suspect.
Did they all have Farrah Fawcett hair?
That's what I was going with.
Yeah.
I also suspect that I'm guessing the women that were there for Charlie Villanueva wearing the Charlie's Angels shirts probably could have starred in Charlie's Angels. Probably attractive young women. And I know that because I attended college one time, and we had what was referred to as a hospitality team. The hospitality team was the team that would meet the highest level recruits when they arrived on campus, and they would give them the tour of the campus and the tour of the facility and the tour of the surrounding area, et cetera, et cetera. And most of the time, the people who were members of the hospitality team were, how do you say it? Smoke shows. 10s, 11s out of 10s. They were just super attractive college women who were willing to get all dolled up and play the role of arm candy so that these athletes could feel like the BMOC when they walked around the sea. I get it. I get it. Charlie Villanueva felt like a rock star. I've had one job, one time, where I was not by myself, but was picked up on a private jet and flown to the venue, flown to the location and back on a private jet.
Why did you have to point out not by yourself?
Because I don't want anybody to think that they sent a private jet just for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no one would ever want anyone to think that.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't want people having the misconstrued notion that I am a 1%er. So,
I don't know who would have started that narrative.
I will tell you that the company that I was doing gig work for, basically.
Wow, you're like going around everything, making it sound something that probably is not.
I worked for a television production company for which I was serving as talent one weekend, and they picked up all of us on the TV crew on a private jet and flew us to the venue where we were doing the television production for that thing. So I will tell you that I felt like an absolute freaking rock star. Like, that company could have asked me to do anything for them, and I would have said yes, much like Charlie Villanueva, who said, I said yes on the spot. Now, he didn't go there, and that was only because Bill Self was the head coach at Illinois at the time. Bill Self was, at the time that this was working on a contract that would eventually move him over to Kansas, where he is still. So Charlie Villanueva gave a verbal, not written commitment to Illinois, and he did a verbal commitment because he wanted to play for Bill Self, and he was blown away by the red carpet Bill Self rolled out for him there in Illinois. Bill Self ended up taking a contract. He moved over to Kansas because Villanueva had only verbally committed. He decommitted from Illinois, and obviously he ended up at the University of Connecticut, ended up being a Husky. He won a natty there, didn't he? I believe he did win a natty with the UConn Huskies. I have a couple of questions. Number one, does that bother you at all? Does it bother you at all? Doesn't bother me at all, just so we're clear. Doesn't bother me at all that they're flying around with private jets and they got a bunch of smoke show college girls probably, scantily clad, gallivanting around campus. It doesn't bother me at all.
Now they don't have to hide it.
Oh, this was never hidden. These things all well within the rules. You're allowed to do that. These are not impermissible benefits on a official recruiting trip. These aren't things that are hidden, never have been. Again, I personally knew the girls on the hospitality team at the university I attended.
How personally?
Not like biblically.
Okay, all right.
That I remember. I knew them well. I'll just say I knew them well. Okay? Dude, they were hanging out with the D1 scholarship athletes. Even in my prime, I was not competing with the D1 caliber athletes.
That means someone had to choose the people, which means like some people got turned away to be on the hospitality team.
Absolutely.
It's like, no, you're just not. You're not.
No, you would have. What would have happened in that case is you would have been added to the recruitment staff. Why don't you just stay in the office today? Here's your laptop. All right, we're gonna send Bethany over here to go show this young man around campus. Alice, why don't you stay in the conference room? And we'll let you know if we need you to Google something for us or whatever. Yes, that's how it works. Welcome to the real world where attractive people get the fun jobs. That's just how it goes.
That definitely didn't happen in Charlie's day because the internet didn't exist.
So he went to school in 2003. The internet, not only did the internet exist, we all had MySpace at that
For
point.
some reason, I thought he was. Oh, wow.
MySpace, there's a reference. Yeah, Charlie, he was in UConn from 03 to 06.
I thought you said he was there earlier. My bad.
03 to 06. So I have questions. My first
you know
is...
you know what it was? You said how many years ago that was, and for some reason, I thought that was...
I want you to know, when I hear 30 years ago, I think like 2007. It's not.
It's not. 30 years ago would have been 94.
Scotty
right?
Scheffler was born in 1996, and it infuriates me. All right? Point here is Charlie Villanueva got this treatment. Private jet, hand-selected, very attractive women to walk him around the campus, dressed up with his name on their shirt. You know, we got all the free gear for being there and practicing with the team and all that good stuff. My question is, did you complain about any of this back then? Were there any complaints about this? Because I'm going to guess. I don't know. I don't own a private jet yet. But I'm relatively sure they're not cheap to buy, to own, to fuel, and to fly. I know that they're not cheap. So you know that Illinois, well before NIL, was putting something to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars into the recruitment of one basketball player. My question is, did you complain about that, or are we just good? We're good with the university literally burning money to fly a private jet around the country for one basketball. Halfway across the country, Illinois to Queens, New York, and then back. Well, I guess Illinois to Queens, and then back to Illinois, and then back to Queens, and then back to four flights. Literally traverse the country twice to recruit a basketball player. Did you complain about that, or are we good with burning money? We just have a problem when the kids get it.
Illinois from Queens, probably not really that long of a flight, is it? Because it's crossed.
I mean, it's not
I mean,
that
it's just
far.
a couple states.
The point is, you're talking tens of thousands of dollars to recruit a kid, but we got a problem with them getting a couple thousand a month in NIL. Do we really? Do we really? Do we really? Really? I do love the story, though. It was dope. Scotty Scheffler on the range, and he's all smiles right now. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Look at the freaking crowd behind him, dude. That's the driving range.
And then I was golfing in the rain.
They're going to call this round. Text Joe, see if it's...
I don't know. Is this any publicity is good type place? I mean, for the golf course? Because they're definitely going to get a lot more people looking at it.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. Can he hit the ball?
Can he hit the ball?
Can he still hit the
He just won
ball?
the Masters.
Yeah,
He
but
hits the ball better than anyone else on the planet.
he was just in the slammer, yo. It might have affected his mentality. Other breaking news, John Daly has withdrawn from the 2024 PGA Championship due to a thumb injury. That's tweeted out by the PGA Championship.
He'll be at Hooters
count.
within the hour.
It was Marty Smith. Marty Smith asked him for a comment on the way in, and Scheffler responded with, "Love you, Marty."
Everybody loves Marty.
And we had just said all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He wants Skynet or is he against Skynet? Because he may be Skynet, Steven. You can tell him I said that. Although if anyone is a synthetic being, it's Diesel, because that beard is too perfect to be actually
Has
grown
anybody
by a
ever
human.
touched it?
Yeah, not me.
Can you throw me a cue for 30 seconds? Please and thank you.
As I'm dying, yeah. You don't have 30 seconds, though.
Okay. Well, it's too long of a clip anyway. I'll just read it.
I'm turning you back up.
What?
I'm turning you back up.
Sometimes it can get a little weird on a Friday here on this show.
Nuh-uh.
I know. Here's one. The Athletic has a reporter by the name of Fred Katz, K-A-T-Z. Fred Katz covers the New York Knicks for The Atlantic. Fred Katz appeared on the Dan Le Batard show with Stu Gatz the other day and told a story. He said that before Game 5, the game in which the New York Knicks took a 3-2 lead over the Indiana Pacers in the NBA's Eastern Conference semifinals, that the team was a little tense. The team was a little tense. The team was kind of struggling to find their flow, find their zone, find their chemistry. But then something happened. There was a moment in the locker room that Fred Katz said players have told him helped loosen up the team so much that the players were crediting this moment with the win. Would you like to know what happened? Apparently, as the team was sitting in the locker room, a little tense, getting ready for the game, it was very quiet. Everybody was kind of in their own head a little bit. And someone, and Katz does not reveal the identity of the person whom it was, apparently released a loud and sustained fart that had the entire locker room cracking up so hard that it changed the attitude of the team. Katz said, quote, when it happened, it strung along for a lot longer than one might expect for a fart of that volume. That one player looked around and said with a completely straight face, something's up with the pipes here, end quote. Apparently, the team had quite the hearty chuckle about it. Katz said that the perpetrator described the incident as loud but proud, and that it was, quote, purely audio. As a matter of fact, when it happened, it strung along a lot louder than one might expect. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in the office today, you're in the conference room, big project that's due later on, big client needs it done by today. Maybe everybody's running a little bit behind, a little discombobulated. Everybody's struggling to get on the same page to finish this project, to get it turned in, to make that client happy. If it gets to a point where you feel like the room just can't take it anymore, please know that the world's most elite athletes clear the air by fogging up the air. Go ahead, reach back to that bean burrito you had for dinner last night, and go ahead and rip one loud and proud in the middle of that room, and you will fix all the problems that your team is having.
All right. I think this is misinformation coming from you, because anytime you go to the restroom and you come back in here, you're in a horrible mood. It doesn't inspire you. It has the opposite on you.
If I walk into the bathroom and I feel that I am in need of a hazmat suit, that's one thing. However, if hypothetically you and me and Captain America Chris Evans down the hall and T2 the Timinator are all standing around in the hallway, and it's quiet because we're all worried about what's coming down the email pipe from corporate next, and somebody rips a butt trumpet in the hallway, I am going to laugh hysterically at that because I'm 7.
I don't recall that ever happening when we shared an office.
I mean, I don't think it has.
I don't think I've heard that in the hallway, and that's saying a lot.
I have absolutely heard it from down and around corners in this office. And I'm sure it's the same person and or persons who have required me to demand hazard pay from my boss for entering the restroom on the 2nd story in our side of the building that I have heard playing said trumpet from around a corner. I'm just saying there's never going to be a point, especially if it breaks up a tense, uncomfortable situation. There's never going to be a point where that's not funny. There's just not. There's never going to be a point where it's not funny. It's not.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying. I've seen how disgruntled you seem after visiting that place and coming back in here.
Again, what happens in that restroom is an assault against the senses. It is a crime against humanity. It is punishable by the damn Geneva Conventions on certain days. But somebody ripping the old tootopotamus while people are trying to have a serious conversation is going to make me laugh 99 out of 99
times. That is not
times.
a thing. You just made that up.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
was going to say, I'd never heard that before. That doesn't mean that's, yeah. Okay. Now that's going to be in my head the rest of the weekend.
If somebody rips booty in the hallway, can you imagine the boss is having a serious conversation? He's like, listen to me. We have got to get this audio package put together and sent to the client by 3 p.m. If not, the biggest client on this station is going to be like, oh, that's the greatest thing that's ever happened in this building.
You know, my papa was bedridden for most of the time that I knew him, and you'd be in middle of conversation with him and he just let it go.
Yeah.
And everybody else ignored it.
That's what we call old privilege.
Everybody else ignored it. And one time he looked at me and he smiled. He's like, that was a good one.
Yeah.
And it's just so I thought he did it on purpose every time to see if he could break somebody.
That's old privilege. That's IDGAF privilege.
They were so offended. They were so worried about being that they would offend him that they would just go on with
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Bob Brown the first, my grandpapa, was notorious. He would sit at the kitchen table and you knew it was time to move to the kitchen because he'd put one arm on that armrest and then he'd just lean all the weight onto it. And you knew what was coming. And here's the thing. You can know who he liked at the table the most because he was omnidirectional. If you were sitting on his left and you had ticked him off, he'd just lean over on that right forearm a little bit. And if you're on the left, he'd just lean over on the other forearm a little bit. That's just kind of how it goes.
As a grandpa myself, I'm learning lessons here today.
I feel like, Zoe, you are dangerously close to entering that privilege.
Oh, you're witnessing it.
Yeah.
You are witnessing.
Oh, you're realizing that this is a thing you can do now?
Well, no, the fact that you're with me more than most people and you're seeing the deterioration. You're hearing it. You're hearing me complain about things I never would complain about. You're also seeing my tact just go out the window, which is unfortunate. And so I am becoming the true old. Hopefully it takes a little while longer, but yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the day that you hear me into this microphone say, oh, dude, why, Lonzo? Please know that is a good time to text in your regards to Lonzo.
I will say, I'm not going to say that that's never happened in this studio or any studio I've ever been in.
Oh, listen.
By any of the people in said studio.
I think all of us have had that moment where you're like, dude, I gotta relieve the pressure here and no one's around me. And then you do. And the next thing you hear is like a door opening and footsteps leaving or something.
Here's the thing. All of our booties comply to FCC regulations. So we're all silent in here because we know they're open mics.
Is farting into a microphone an FCC violation?
It's a scatological thing. The fact that you're talking about it so much has me concerned. But that, and I don't like that word, but you already knew that. So that doesn't,
Yes, I do find that freaking hilarious. It is true. It's damn true. I wasn't even going to get to the town hit by explosive diarrhea forces school to close story. That was also on this list.
Wait, an entire town? You need to send me that story. I need that for tomorrow.
That's true. I just realized this segment is show prep for Upstate Pulse, which airs tomorrow from 7 to 9 on our brother station, WORD.
I legitimately do want that story.
Done. It's on the way.
Thank you.
A school has been forced to close after water contaminated with a parasitic bug is feared to have left hundreds of people sick with symptoms including profuse diarrhea.
Wow, I've had that before. It's not good.
I can't imagine it is. Hey, Scotty Scheffler's out on the golf course. How about that? How about that?
Listen on your phone.
That's not the right clip.
Wow.
That's not the right clip. Lonzo is a fart on air away from retiring at this point, is the message we're getting right now. Oh, man. We like to have fun here.
No, that's like 2 days in a row. I'm done, man. My career is over, whatever it was. All right, the first thing that's Xing is
Scotty Scheffler, Tiger Woods, John Daly,
Tiffany Stratton.
Fair enough. So apparently there is some hot water around everybody's favorite blonde, Tiffany Stratton, because apparently she called Jade Cargill the B word in a tweet that was sent out. However,
but it was preceded by another word, and and turns out that she was actually
quoting a meme.
It's a whole video that she was quoting.
There's a meme video that is going around on the internet that has that quote in it, and she was quoting that meme. This is why, hey kids, listen to your Uncle Rob. I need you to be very careful when you are dealing with old and authority people. Please recognize that they don't meme like you do, okay? And they may go, what do you mean by this meme? And you will have to explain it. That being said, from what the dirt sheets are saying, there's no backstage heat on Tiffany Stratton for this, so cool.
But it will end up being a storyline because you got to do that. I mean, once it makes the news, you got to follow up with that. The next thing that is Xing is GTA 6.
Dude, I'm so excited about this game. This is the first game in a very long time I've been excited for. Very long. Please tell me they just delayed the release date. Son of a biscuit. Why?
Delayed to November now.
I swear, dude, we are going to have flying cars before I get to play GTA 6.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When you start getting delays on video games, it makes you concerned about the gameplay of said video game. It's not as bad as when a movie gets delayed 2 or 3 times. Then you're like, man, this movie's got to be horrible.
I would feel that way about a lot of publishing companies. I don't think I feel that way about Rockstar. I think Rockstar, by and large, when they, specifically the GTA franchise, when they have put out games that have been delayed, the games are usually good when they come out. And this game is going to be, from my understanding, great one, this game is going to be about 5 times larger than GTA 5, which I still play. It has been out 10 years, and it is still a great game. They update all the time. So if this game is indeed going to be 4 or 5 times larger than one of the greatest video games I've ever played, GTA 5, it makes sense that they are going to have to make sure it is perfect before they let it go.
All right, shout out to Zach who noticed this. Jeff Darlington just posted statement from Scotty Scheffler to me this morning. I was proceeding as directed by police officers. It was a very chaotic situation, understandably so, considering the tragic accident that had occurred earlier. And there was a big misunderstanding of what I thought I was being asked to do. I never intended to disregard any of the instructions. I'm hopeful to put this to the side and focus on golf today. Of course, all of us involved in the tournament express our deepest sympathies to the family of the man who passed away in the earlier accident this morning. It truly puts everything in perspective.
Yeah, listen, here's the thing about Scotty Scheffler. Scheffler is a down-to-earth, salt of the earth kind of dude. If you ever get a chance to listen to Scotty Scheffler, he's the most boring ass golfer of all time. Sincerely, he's the greatest golfer on planet Earth right now, and he's the most boring golfer on planet Earth. There's no emotion.
So he's Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, basically. There's no emotion. He never lets anything get to him, whatever. But if you ever listen to his interviews, he's a man of religious faith. And again, that doesn't make you a good person. But when you are putting that image out and you don't have an arrest record, you've never been in trouble, you've never been fined by the tour. That is why I am more willing to give Scotty Scheffler the benefit of the doubt than a lot of people, because there's absolutely nothing behind him at all, including charisma or personality, that leads me to believe he's the type of dude that would directly fly in the face of a police officer at 4 a.m. It's a weird story. Anyway, he tees off here at 10:08. I'm going home to watch it. Y'all have a lovely weekend. Don't drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. If you want to watch tonight, I'll be on the call for the Greenville Liberty home match. That'll be available on their social media page. Y'all have a lovely weekend. See you back here on Monday to do it all over again on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah. I just said, great job, Alonzo, you old fart. Tied it all together.
Shane, you probably don't want to quote Rob on just about anything. That's probably not a good move.
But trumpet's one of my favorites. It is. It is. All right, guys and gals, I hope you'll all have a spectacular weekend. Thank you very much for being here. You're all amazing people. Tell your friends about us and help us grow the show. Liberty game tonight. First Saturday off in forever, and Courtney's in a wedding tomorrow, so I will be at a wedding. What is Sunday? There's something on Sunday. Golf Sunday morning. Oh, my little brother's in Asheville. Going to go see the little brother in Asheville Sunday. So busy weekend, but we'll be back Monday. Have a lovely one. Goodbye.